price and receive up to $1,500 off or get 18 months of no payments. So the first payment is not until spring of 2024. At Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, all new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. Schedule your appointment now at springhillac.com. That's springhillac.com.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/enjoy. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/enjoy. That's BARTESIAN.com/enjoy for Bartesian's best deal ever. Only at bartesian.com/enjoy.
Robbie Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexroad.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. You're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robbie and Rexroad every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope.
Blood Assurance, this community's local blood centers, is hiring for several open positions in the Nashville area. Be a part of a company that helps save lives by providing the local hospitals with the much-needed life source of blood. They offer competitive pay, great benefits, paid time off, and retirement benefits. Blood Assurance has a family-friendly environment. Go to bloodassurance.org/careers. Again, that's bloodassurance.org/careers to apply.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rexroad, Chase, Willie, and D-Mace.
Stillman Company. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushes.
Awesome Game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the losses of Amanda J. Gentry. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Caroline Fenton is here today. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, how we doing? Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, Ian is here today. Hello, Ian.
What up, what up?
Okay, so because it's Thanksgiving and I'm in a festive mood, I am trying to find my empathy today. I am trying to find it because I listened to the Todd Downing press conference today, and what an unmitigated disaster that Todd Downing press conference was. And I'm trying to find, I mean, you know I've been trying to be more empathetic, right, Caroline?
It's something that you've been practicing, yes.
Okay, so you've been trying to be more empathetic. And so I watched this Todd Downing press conference today. And back me up on this. We weren't even going to talk much about the Todd Downing press conference, a big game with Cincinnati. And then all of a sudden, Todd Downing opened his mouth, and I could not believe what I heard. I could not believe it. So it started with a 2-minute statement from Todd Downing, in which, of note, the first thing that stood out to me was he admitted to doing it. You know how these guys have these press conferences where it's like, I can't get into the details because of ongoing litigation. But, I mean, he admitted to doing it. This was Todd Downing in his opening 2-minute statement today.
I put my family through some things that they don't deserve. I have an amazing wife and an amazing son who love me unconditionally, and I don't want them to have to endure anything more than what I've brought on. It's devastating that my actions or anything that I'm involved with could ever bring negative attention to or bring distractions to this organization, to the ownership, Miss Amy, and to the front office and obviously Coach Vrabel.
So he basically just said my actions to bring that to this team, that and my wife and kid. The second thing in that opening statement, and I went back and listened to it, he didn't really say he was sorry. In fact, we're not going to play the whole 2.5 minute opening statement from Todd Downing. You can go listen to that on your own. But if you listen to it, it is, I don't think at any point does he use the word sorry. He admits to doing it, which we just played right there, where he talked about my wife and son, what they've been through, and this ownership, and John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. And he talks about how sensitive people can be to the situation, and we know what that means. But he doesn't apologize to the fans. He doesn't say anything to the fans. And again, I don't think the word sorry was included in there. And so I'm not prosecuting him in a court of law.
He is sorry?
I mean, he better be sorry, because when he goes in front of the judge, and clearly he's going to admit that he did it, because he admitted to all of us that he did it. So when he goes in front of the judge, then all of a sudden, don't you think that the judge is going to want to see some contrition?
Does it not sound like he is remorseful for his actions in that statement right there?
It sounded like he was accepting an award. It sounded like he was, my wife and my son and the ownership, and not one time did he say he was sorry. Not, I'm sorry. Didn't hear that. Secondly, what about the fans? What about the fans? That's what these press conferences are for. The second thing Downing says, which is typical, but I take a little umbrage with it, is the idea that that was not the appropriate time to address the situation.
Because of the nature of the situation, I know there are a lot of questions. I know people are looking for details and answers, and unfortunately, because of the situation, I'm not able to discuss quite a bit of that evening. And at the proper time, when appropriate, I will answer any questions that I can.
And see, that drives me crazy too, because
but I get it.
No, but it's appropriate now. Now is the appropriate time. Now, if it may not be advantageous.
Appropriate because you want the answers.
No.
So you find it appropriate to address it.
It's not inappropriate. Inappropriate. This is the time. People are there to hear what you have to say about this. That is the appropriate time to do it. He used the wrong word. He should have said it is not advantageous for me to talk about this because there is pending litigation. And if he were to go in depth, now the judge is going to ask the same questions the press is asking, right? Like there's a rideshare program. Why didn't you use it? And he's not going to be able to look at the judge and be like, yeah, I'm just focused on Cincinnati this week. Not going to be able to do that. But I go back to the word appropriate. Inappropriate would be to get up there and start talking about your sex life. Inappropriate would to get up there and start talking about politics. Inappropriate, that's not the right word. This is the appropriate time to address it. Now, you may not want to address it, and that's fine, but just be honest. Just say.
Is it fair to nitpick his vocabulary?
I think if you're having a mea culpa, in which we do it when we're talking about 2nd down and 4, if you're having a mea culpa in which you embarrass the organization, yes, every word you say matters.
But not saying appropriate or advantageous. I understand why he is not divulging more information than is needed. Because there's an ongoing legal investigation, and anything that he says could completely screw himself or the organization over.
You mean unlike him admitting to having done it in the first cut that we played?
Well, I think there's enough evidence to show that he has done it, but beyond what was going on that night, where did you drink, all of the specifics of the situation, don't you think all of those questions that we all have, I know you and I both have, I'm sure we're not the only ones, the answers to those questions are probably much more incriminating than him just saying, hey, look, just not right now. There will be a time when I can, but not right now.
What court's he in right now? What court was he in today? What court was he testifying in front of today?
of public opinion.
Okay. Public opinion is you did it. You didn't say my public opinion. You did it. You didn't really say you were sorry, though you did make sure to shout out your wife and kid and shout out the organization that stood behind you.
It was not a shout out. It wasn't like a, hey, shout out to my wife for being supportive of me and my DUI.
I didn't hear the word, hey, fans. I'm really, really sorry. I didn't hear that. And then he even goes further, and it's like, dude, if you're going to open it up a little bit, then if I'm the Titans and I'm sitting there with this press conference, I'm embarrassed. This was Todd Downing with the back and forth where he started pleading the fifth.
The rideshare availability here, is that well communicated here, and are you aware of that?
Yes. Yes.
So why not use it?
I can't get into the specifics of that night.
Did you drink here or on the plane?
I can't get into the specifics of that night.
I mean, if you're going, don't admit that you know about the rideshare program and then.
When he said it, though, he sounded very apprehensive. Like, yes, I did know about it when he said it. He was probably like, oh, crap, should I have said that? But that was such a lawyered up response of, I'm not saying anything about that night.
I know, but he opened the door. And again, this is the public opinion court, and we are the jury. And I mean,
obviously he knew about it.
I just think I would hope that he knew about it.
I think that's a pretty well.
Actually, I would hope that he doesn't know about it, right?
That's so true. You would hope that he doesn't. But that doesn't excuse it. Whether he did or he didn't, it doesn't excuse it. I mean, you can probably afford the $20 Lyft or Uber or whatever it was from the airport to Williamson County.
And then, Ian, if you could, number 5 on Downing, this one got me. Like, if I owned the Titans, I would have already been mad, but I'd be even more mad after hearing Todd Downing. And Gentry Estes, and Caroline, you can back me up on this one. I have already chastised Gentry for this question. And I love him, but I sent him a gif of Oprah with this question. But this was a little Q&A here about just how hard this has been for Todd.
Todd, kind of separate from that incident.
I'm well aware of the pressures, the responsibilities, and the expectations that come with the privilege of coaching in this league. And each season is going to have its own challenges. I'm a man that wants to step up and answer challenges, and I believe that I've tried to do that and will continue to do that given the opportunity.
Is this the toughest challenge you've had to face in your career?
Can't think of much tougher.
Oh, man, you did it to yourself, Todd.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm playing the world's tiniest violin for you. And my question is, what was the point of asking that question?
The one
I don't
from
want to
Gentry?
get on Gentry. Yeah, but what?
How hard has this been for
question?
you, Todd?
Well, not even this, but the season. Is that what drove you to do this? Is that
I'm
what
going to
he
give
was
Gentry
trying to
some
get
credit. I think Gentry was trying to get Todd Downing to maybe open up a little bit.
Maybe so, and that's what I'm asking. I don't know the motivation behind the question.
I mean, when you go on Oprah's couch, she does not sit there and say, "Why'd you do what you did?" You know what I mean?
It's like let's unbox this a little bit.
So,
but
we are the court of public opinion, and honestly, I'm bothered. In public, if I'm a juror in the court of public opinion, I was bothered today. Now, again, I'm trying to find more empathy, but I knew what had happened basically coming in, and then the press conference today. I mean, again, just say you're sorry to the fans. So we'll get in. 615-737-1025. We'll get you in as well. Coming up next, though, the one thing that absolutely positively I thought if I was the Titans today, I would have been furious. As far as Downing is concerned, probably skeptical on Friday, furious today. We'll get to that coming up next. To me, it was the most shocking part of the press conference. We'll get to that. FanDuel Sportsbook is my official sportsbook app. Football fans make this a Thanksgiving to remember with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because when you bet an NFL same-game parlay from now through November 28th, all customers get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose. Just bet an NFL SGP or SGP Plus of at least $20. The bigger your bet, the more you'll get back in free bets. That's right. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way for you to combine your bets for a chance at a larger payday. Build your own or choose from one of the popular SGPs pre-built for you in FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. However you want to play, get up to $100 in free bets, win or lose, when you bet an NFL same-game parlay of 4 legs or more. New to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt, and the max free bet is $100. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Want the latest on college football and Nashville sports?
He looks like 1,000 quarterbacks I've seen in a college game.
Join Outkick 360's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company.
The coaching staff kept him and got rid of the other guys.
He'll bring opinions and charisma for a full half hour every week.
If he's so great in the locker room, then give him a coaching gig.
Chad Withrow is presented by Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's Black Friday weekend, and Genesis Diamonds is giving away free Yetis, free pizza ovens, free Always pans, and free smart TVs. When you buy any piece of jewelry at Genesis this weekend, you'll get one of the year's coolest holiday gifts, absolutely free. Stock the tree with something for everyone this year. Spend just $299 or more on a piece of jewelry, and Genesis gives you a free rechargeable hand warmer or shiatsu massager. Spend $500 and you'll get an Ember Smart Mug, or spend at least $1,000 at Genesis this weekend, and you'll get a free mini projector or big horn pizza oven. So you can get her that beautiful ring or pair of earrings for Christmas and get one of the year's hottest gifts at no extra charge. How about a Yeti Tundra when you spend at least $1,800 this weekend? Or listen to this, spend $3,500 on a piece of jewelry and choose between a 55-inch 4K TV and a Dyson Airwrap. Yours free. Don't miss the Black Friday event. This Friday through Cyber Monday, only at Genesis Diamonds. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Open Sundays till Christmas.
When Smashville wants to rock. Nashville's rock station. 102.9 The Buzz.
Signs First, Nashville's foremost destination for event signage and physical media. Located just minutes from Broadway, our team of design, production, and installation professionals can help you create an unforgettable event. Stand out. Be different. Go to sfnash.com.
When joint pains cause you to sit out on everyday activities, it's time to make an appointment with Dr. Matthew Beal at Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Dr. Beal can diagnose your problem and treat the joint pain for both surgical and non-surgical matters. Board certified and fellowship trained, Dr. Beal specializes in hip, knee, joint replacement, and adult joint reconstruction. Visit tn.houston.com to learn more about Dr. Beal and to book an appointment online. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Never miss a moment of the show.
What is this? Check it out.
Subscribe to the Stillman and Company podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
One report that stated that you had received, or that you communicated that you had been receiving death threats. Is that report accurate? And if so, can you elaborate on that?
I mentioned how much my family's already been through, and that is a portion of what I am not at liberty to discuss at the moment.
Did you call the authorities about such matters?
I understand there are a lot of questions, and I wish that I were able to just lay everything out, but I'm not able to comment on the events that night right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Did you hear that?
That he's not able to comment on the events that night?
I mean, just the report was, because WSMV reported it on Friday, that when Todd Downing got pulled over, and like if I'm the Titans, I'm already skeptical when I hear this, or I shouldn't say if I'm the Titans, just me in general. I am completely skeptical when I hear the WSMV report that Todd Downing was pulled over and said that he was rushing home because his family was receiving death threats. Then he's asked about the report, and he basically confirms the report, right?
Yes.
He says that his family's receiving death threats.
Well, he said that his family has been going through a difficult time and he can't address the death threats at this time, which to me is, yes, that's true.
So then Paul asks, I think, a great follow-up. Did you contact the authorities?
That's a very fair question to ask.
Well, does it have anything to do with you driving home, under the influence?
I mean, it could maybe be justification of I was, trying so hard to go home and protect my family at all costs. It doesn't make what he did right. It doesn't justify driving under the influence. Maybe it provides context as to why he did it, but it doesn't make anything better. It doesn't change anything.
Do you buy that?
No.
Okay.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, from the second I saw the WSMV article, I thought, what? Like, what? That sounds like such a convoluted excuse.
I mean,
for their sake, I hope it's not true.
About the death threats?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like somebody on Twitter, and I don't know this, but Paul Kaharski's question is the right course of action, which is if he was getting death threats, call the cops.
Yes.
Like, that's what you're supposed to do. And so Todd Downing basically I thought that the Todd Downing that I was getting death threats was the subtle way of him trying to play the do you know who I am card. And so then he gets his hand caught in the cookie jar on that. He gets asked about it. He confirms that the death threats are a thing. And Paul's like, did you call the cops? Because it sounds kind of fishy. If you were really all that worried about your family getting death threats, if you didn't call the cops or if you didn't call team security. And it's not like calling the cops about getting death threats is specific to that night. And I don't understand how calling the cops would affect his case one way or another, right? Like all of a sudden it's, well, Judge, I was getting death threats. What is the judge going to ask?
Did you call the police?
Did you call the cops? I mean, so
did you call the people that could actually come in and do something to help protect your family?
So we have a press conference now where the man did not say he was sorry. And
I don't think that's fair, because just because he did not explicitly say the words, I am sorry, I think that he showed remorse. It was enough for me to understand that he feels bad about what he did and he wishes it never happened.
Do you think that he owed some either more contrition or at least a sign of apology, like a legitimate apology?
He did show a sign of apology.
No, like actually saying I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, saying you're sorry never hurts anything.
So, and this death threats thing, I
am very confused about how that even started, what the story is.
Until you have some proof that those things existed and that you took them seriously, and i.e. called the cops, until you do that, to me, that's just like A.J. Brown's camp. Remember the A.J. Brown summer camp where he was like, I'm still going to try to host my summer camp even though I got traded to Philadelphia. And then it was like, I'm going to try to get Derrick Henry to host the camp. And then it was, I'm not hosting the camp because I'm getting death threats.
Yes.
It's like, what?
From who, AJ? From who?
What?
I'll go back to, for Todd Downing and his family's sake, I hope this isn't true. But it's such a strange element and layer of an already very confusing story.
And if it is true, and I'm not saying that it's not true, but the actions are leading me to believe that they, probably aren't. And again, this is the court of public opinion.
Sounds fishy.
And we are the public opinion. And on Thanksgiving, I don't want to, I prefer to not get in trouble on Thanksgiving. But in the
I prefer to not get in trouble on any day, to be honest.
But especially Thanksgiving. You trying to be thankful today? Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, 615-737-1025. KO is going to kick us off today. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, KO.
Yes, I love your show, Jared, and I've been with you on most of everything you said. But with Todd Downey, wouldn't you think that right now the GM would be laughing at you because you're not wanting to forgive him? He's just now called one of the best games in this season, and we're wanting to convict him as if we do nothing wrong. Have you ever done anything wrong?
Does that matter?
To be forgiven?
Does that matter that he called a good game on Thursday night to you?
No, what I'm saying is, have you ever did anything wrong and wanted to be forgiven for it? Forgive
Absolutely.
him.
Absolutely. And you know what I said when I wanted to be forgiven?
Say again?
You know what I said when I wanted to be forgiven?
What?
Caroline, what do you think I said? Thank you, KO, for your call. What do you think I said when I've wanted to be forgiven in my life?
I'm sorry.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Why are you so hung up on that? That is like the smallest thing, in my opinion.
Because it felt to me like he wasn't really sorry. It felt to me, and the Titans, and this is a Titan thing right here with this. It feels like they're sorry he got caught, not sorry that he did it. That's what's bothering me.
I don't get how you picked up on that at all.
Oh, I mean, Vrabel yesterday. I thought Vrabel yesterday. I thought what this was with Vrabel is that Vrabel said, we'll get to the Vrabel thing, because I don't think Vrabel did the court of public opinion any favors. And again, it's a DUI. And I know people in my life who have gotten DUIs, and they're good people, and they're not bad people, and their lives, I would hope, are not ruined because they got a DUI. And at the same time, I think that we all have to remember how serious a DUI could be as opposed to what happened or what didn't. And so there's a huge gray area here. And I'm not saying Todd Downing should be fired, but I felt a significant lack of contrition today, and it bothered me. I felt like, and you know this as well as anybody, Caroline, that when I feel like somebody's yanking my chain, that really drives me up a wall. Yep. I'm trying to be more empathetic. I'm trying to think, okay, what should Todd Downing have done? What should Todd Downing have said? Forget about the fact that he should have used the ride share, and he shouldn't have driven home drunk, and he shouldn't have been going 95 miles an hour. Right. Once you get there, put yourself in his shoes. What should he have done today at the podium? And as I'm listening to his 2-minute apology in which he didn't say he's sorry, he never talked about the fans. He never talked about the role that he plays in the community. He never talked about any of that. It was like, let me make sure that I check everybody off on the checklist of, I got the coach, I got the GM, I got the owner, I got my family, the players, I got them, check. And that just didn't feel very sorry to me. That's all I'm saying.
I do wonder if part of this was the lawyer saying, don't say you're sorry, because if you say you're sorry, you are admitting guilt. But
didn't he admit to the guilt anyways?
But he
when he
said,
talked about my actions
my family's
my
been going
family.
through a hard time, is what all of this that's been going on has been really difficult on my family. Doesn't mean that I did it. Not saying that I did it, but I'm going through a legal process because I have to.
But he said it was because of his actions.
Yeah.
615-737-1025. We're back to your phones. And then the Vrabel thing. I do want to touch on Vrabel yesterday because it was different, I felt, personally, than Vrabel Friday. Caroline's going to tell you, though, about the Caesars Sportsbook app.
Yes, I do. It is time for the Caesars Sportsbook Report. Now, your first bet with Caesars is on Caesars up to $1,250. Just sign up using the promo code RADIOFULL, one word, RADIOFULL, and then place your first bet. And if you win, that money is all yours. Go have fun with it. But if not, don't worry about it, because you'll get that stake back as a free bet. Now, it's Thanksgiving week. We've got so many great football games going on this week. So I will start with the first one coming up tomorrow night, the Egg Bowl. Give me Ole Miss -2. I'm also going to take the over 61 because both of those teams can put up points like nobody's business. But that's my take. Do what you want to do. Just do it the Caesars Sportsbook app. Open to new users in Tennessee who are 21 or older. If qualifying bet loses, bet amount returned as a credit. Must use within 14 days. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Gambling problem? Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Caesars Sportsbook. You bet, you get.
ESPN Titans NFL Nation reporter Teron Davenport brings knowledge.
3 touchdowns. He was processing, getting rid of the ball quickly.
Passion.
Make no mistake about it. He absolutely has to hit the ground running.
And expertise on the two-tone blue and the NFL. Join TD every Monday at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Friday morning at 8 for all the latest on your favorite team. Teron Davenport is presented by Craneworks on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. They're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put 0 down and get 0% APR for up to 48 months, plus save up to $1,100. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit Coleman Tractor Company, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House today.
Hey, it's Big Joe on the go. Look, I get it. Nobody likes being in a car accident, but when that happens, make it easy on yourself and call Apple Collision Centers so you don't have to stress. They're locally owned with 3 convenient locations in O'Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Apple Collision Centers managers combined for 60-plus years experience, and they only recommend original equipment parts on your vehicle. So, if you're in need of a repair today or down the road, just head over to Apple Collision Centers. Stan and his team will take great care of you. Online, applecollisioncenters.com.
Calling all sweet tooths. Head to Nashville Toffee Company, a place where rich, chocolatey daydreams are created from a secret family recipe generations in the making. Their toffees and candies are handcrafted in Nashville using all-natural, kosher-certified ingredients. Sweet creamery butter, pure cane sugar, premium roasted nuts, deep rich chocolate, and sea salt. Visit NashvilleToffeeCompany.com or drop by their headquarters on Air Lane Drive for a positively hassle-free shopping experience. Whether you're buying for 1 or 100, Nashville Toffee Company is here to make your holiday gift-giving easy.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
We'll continue forward with, how things were as Todd is our offensive coordinator. Now those things could change. I want to make sure that everybody understands that at any point in time when we hear from the league or, that, the legal process, those things could obviously change. I want to make sure that everybody understands that. But right now, that's where we're at, status quo.
Why not be proactive and not wait on the league and do something as an organization rather than wait and let the league handle a difficult situation?
And again, I appreciate that. I do. I think it's my experience, the organization's experience, that we'll just wait for everything to play out. And then, obviously, if the decisions that we make
require us to be held accountable, we'll absolutely do that.
There we go. I thought that was a good question from Paul Kaharski that was like, why not be proactive? And Vrabel's like, well, we'll just wait. And, if our actions require us to be punished, then we'll be punished. And
why aren't you being proactive? Because we don't want to be.
We don't want to be. And I thought Paul Kaharski actually asked Vrabel to that. An excellent follow-up, because Downing's press conference was horrible today, I thought, as far as the court of public opinion is concerned. But I thought Vrabel had a good press conference on Friday. I thought Vrabel yesterday could not have given two poops about this. The contrition from Mike Vrabel was absolute zero. On Friday, it looked like he cared. Yesterday, it was like, stop asking me, I don't care. This was Paul's follow-up to Vrabel.
You said if the decisions we make require us to be held accountable, you don't feel the decisions that you've made require you to be held accountable?
I think that, again, our focus is on Cincinnati. We understand that, there's things outside of football that we have to deal with. And certainly in this case that we'll have to do that. So this is the decision. This is where we're at right now. And, that could obviously change.
I mean, good God. I mean, when Vrabel talks about there are things outside of football, like I think that's like, a storm comes and a tree hits somebody's house. That's something that you have to deal with outside of football. This is a guy's individual actions. Again, Friday, it was, we take this very seriously. The league takes this very seriously. We can't comment because of the league, but we take it seriously. We understand how important this is. We take it seriously. And yesterday, it was like, ask me about the Bengals. Please, I don't care to talk about this anymore. I'm on to football. And it's like, Mike, you're a great coach, man, but sometimes you got to have a little bit more tact. Like, just a little bit more.
I don't blame him. Like, if I'm Vrabel, I want to talk about the Bengals. If I'm Vrabel, I'm sick and tired of talking about this. But to your point, sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do. Sometimes you got to answer questions that you don't want to answer on subjects that you don't want to talk about. Boo freaking who. This is what everyone wants to know about, is Todd Downing's DUI and what's going to happen with him with the organization.
And like I said Friday, if they don't do anything, then it's going to look like they condone it. And if they do something, then it's going to be a standard that everybody's going to have to be held to. And that's not a fair situation, I believe, for the organization to be put in. But when Vrabel is just sitting there like, next question, next questioning like that, it looks like you don't care. And as the head coach, you are the spokesperson of the organization. And if I owned that team, I'd be freaking pissed at Mike Vrabel. Because I'd be like, you get out there every time this comes up, you show some contrition, because we don't want our community, whom we're asking for $1.7 billion or whatever it is, $1.2 billion or whatever. We don't want our community to think that we don't care. And when Vrabel answers questions like that, it looks like he doesn't care. Regardless of whether or not, what is Vrabel supposed to say? Show a little bit more contrition. I get that that's how Vrabel gets when he doesn't want to answer questions. This is different than who's going to play left guard this week. It's just different. Jason is up next here on the program. Thank you for calling. What you got, Jason?
Hey, guys. First of all, I want to tell you guys have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too.
And then also, I wanted to say for the Tom Downey situation, if your family's receiving death threats, why are you even drinking? Why aren't you rushed home to get home? Maybe you get a speeding ticket, but why are you even drinking? And when did that death threat happen? If it even actually happened?
I think all these questions. Thank you for your call, Jason. I think all these questions are valid. I mean, the death threat thing. I'm sorry, and I am not somebody. I'm not one of these people who, requires proof for absolutely every single kind of statement, because, I don't know. I told you guys about the time that prostitute broke into my house, and it's not like I provided proof of fingerprints or anything or whatever, though I still do have the picture of the time that she roached that cigarette in the cup holder of my nice couch. But, I'm sure there are people out there that are like, oh, no, that story probably whatever. But so I get it.
That story never gets old.
It never gets old. And Boy, I tell you, the amount of scared that I was running down those steps. I would have gone in the first round with how fast I sprinted down those steps. If I ran a 40 time at the combine like that, the Titans would go from like, oh, you say all this crazy stuff on the radio to, oh, you want to play linebacker for us? Like, that's how fast I sprinted down those steps. Anywho, I say this about the Downing thing. If you're going to have death threats as an adult, you have to call the cops. And so if all of a sudden the only time that anybody, including the cops or team security or whomever, hears about these death threats are when it is convenient for you to try to get out of a DUI, then it just seems incredibly fishy. Now, if Todd Downing had been talking to team security and the Metro Police about these death threats ahead of time, then good for Todd Downing and good for, Metro Police to find out who did this. And people should not be trying to threaten the offensive coordinator about what happens on second down. That's ridiculous and it's wrong. But
it still doesn't excuse it. I mean, if he did call Metro Police, if he did call security, if he did go through the necessary steps to make sure that his family was safe, good. Still doesn't excuse the fact that you were driving while drunk. Like, it still doesn't, negate the fact that you were driving under the influence and that's against the law. But at least you went through the appropriate steps, and I would say, okay, well, then your family, unfortunately, was in danger.
And if he didn't go through the appropriate steps, then what does it make you think?
It makes me think what I already think, that it is awfully fishy.
Just like AJ's camp. 615-737-1025. What do we have in the text line?
One texter texts in says, you two are the only ones that care about what happens to Todd Downing. Obviously, Mike Vrabel wants to move on, but you want to linger on this.
I mean, of course Mike Vrabel wants to move on. Duh.
Mike Vrabel doesn't even want to talk about what was wrong with the quarterback's ankle, much less the offensive coordinator's DUI.
I don't think, I actually asked Ian during the break. I was like, do you think that people care about this? And I'll be completely frank with you. I don't know at the level of which people do care about it. I will say that when I saw that Todd Downing got a DUI, I'm like, on Friday morning in the Chicago airport with TD, I was like, this is going to be all anybody wants to talk about. Then, as it's gone on and other things have happened, people's attention has shifted. Then Todd Downing got up there and set up a bunch of, contradictory stuff, that I can't talk about it, but I'm really, really sorry to my wife and kids and to the owner. It's like, so you did it, but I can't talk about it. So you said you've been receiving death threats. This has been a very tough year on me and my family. So did you call the cops about those death threats? I can't talk about it. You know what I mean? It's like...
Well, I don't think any of that is contradictory. I think all of that is, I can't talk about it because it's an ongoing legal investigation. I don't think he contradicted himself at all.
Oh, I do. He got up there at the very beginning and he said, my actions to do this to my family and to do this to the owner and the team and the coach. I mean...
That was not admitting guilt of specifics of where he was drinking, what the death threats were. That's what he wants to avoid.
I mean, to me, it's either you did it or you didn't do it, and you're saying you did it. When you talk about it being your actions.
He didn't say that he did it, but he said his actions have made it very difficult on him and his family.
Well, if you didn't do it, would you say that your actions were the cause of the problem?
I don't know what I would say, to be honest with you. Are you going to get up there and say, I'm innocent?
I've never been framed of a crime in my life, and I hope to never be framed of a crime in my life. But if I was framed of a crime, I think what I would say is not, I'm sorry my actions have caused everybody to think that I'm evading my taxes. I'd be like, I didn't do it. You know what I mean? In fact, a lot of people that's there, I'm looking forward to my day in court. We did not hear that from Todd Downing. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Now, I do have a theory about the players. in all of this. Chris Sanders, former Titans receiver, he'll join us next. We'll run that by him and get his thoughts on the Bengals, who he poo-pooed last year before the playoff game, and of course we know that they won. Hey, join Big Joe Dubin and Elijah Campbell this Friday for the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy from 6 to midnight. They'll preview the big games and then take you through the night of high school football around the mid-state. It's the Apple Collision Center's Game Blitz, presented by National Playmakers Academy on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at 102.5 The Game Nashville.
Every Wednesday at 8:45. Join Robbie and Rex Road for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:45 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Great day ahead of us here for this Getaway Wednesday. High temperatures today going to be in the middle 60s. Plenty of sunshine. Rain, however, does move into the forecast for Thanksgiving right around dinner time.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knesvik here for Superbook Sports. And when it comes to sports, listen, everything is happening right now. Football, basketball, hockey, a little postseason baseball, and soon enough, the World Cup. And there's no better place to wager on all of it than Superbook Sports. When you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day, Superbook will give you a bonus up to $1,000. Yes, I said it, $1,000. When the sports world is busy, it is time to get busy winning some money. So download the Superbook Sportsbook app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Harman Energy is now hiring drivers for their Nashville team. Harman Energy is Tennessee's petroleum solution for major industries. Right now, they're offering competitive compensation. Fuel tank wagon drivers start at $26 an hour. Fuel transport drivers, $29 an hour. Plus, there's a $4,000 sign-on bonus for CDL drivers. Top quality benefits and a great place to work, Harman Energy employees provide totally outrageous customer service. Come be an employee owner with the Harman team. Apply now at HarmanEnergy.com.
Hey, it's Hutton. Guys, do you need an annual health exam? I recommend going to Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They will check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and an office visit with their medical provider to give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy, even verifying your insurance. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
College football season is here. Finally, it's me, Caroline Fenton, and you already know that I am pumped up for college football season. And Southeastern Carolines, you know that 312 Pizza Company is my favorite place in town. 312 Pizza Company is a family-owned restaurant located in the heart of Germantown, serving up authentic Chicago-style eats right here in Music City. You can catch every down of the college football season at 312 Pizza Company. From week 1 to the national championship, 312 Pizza Company is your home for college football season.
Chase McCabe.
The best way to figure that out is to watch Twitter.
Willie Donick.
Trying to move down the field for the winning field goal.
And Derek Mason.
I'm putting in my hours and I'm out of here.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Hey, join 102.5, 106.3 The Game at the Corner Pub downtown tonight to watch the Predators take on the Detroit Red Wings at 6 o'clock. Watch the game and enter for your chance to win tickets to a future Predators home game. By the way, I'm going to the game on Saturday. I got a feeling that the more I get down on the Predators, the more they win. I can't explain it. So they got a big one. They got 2 big ones this weekend. So we'll see Friday and Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. Chris Sanders joins us now. Former Titans receiver, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment, Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers, ParmanEnergy.com. Chris, Todd Downing calls the best game that I think he's had over the last 2 years. And then he gets pulled over on his way home with a DUI. We all know DUI is serious. I do have a theory, though, that I want to run by you as a former player. And that is that I don't think the players care. Like, I don't think this is he needs to address it with the team and the team would be upset at him or anything like that. What is your experience with stuff like this?
I think they do care, and I'm going to say it in a different way. They care about him as not just being an offensive coordinator, but him just as a man. I mean, just me, if I'm a player and I know my coach went through something tragic or did something wrong, I'm going to figure out a way to help him. I think they care in that sense. And I know they got a game and stuff going on, but I still think that they care about him, not just as an offensive coordinator, but just care about him just as a man and make sure he's all right in life and not just as an offensive coordinator.
So, but I don't think there's any anger towards Todd Downing from the players.
No, I mean, I don't think it's anger. I mean, right now, I mean, anger's not going to really do anything. I think, guys want to make sure that this cat is all right. They want to make sure that this doesn't lead to something even worse. So because you don't want that situation to happen. I understand that they understand the magnitude of what he did. They understand it's wrong. They understand that he shouldn't have did that. But at the end of the day, they want to make sure that he is right mentally, because if he's right mentally, it's not that he can just call the game mentally, but just be mentally right for life. So I think that you got to look at it in that sense.
Chris Sanders is with us.
Yes, sir.
So last year before the Titans and the Bengals, you said the Bengals were going to get run out of Nissan Stadium, and Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions, and they ended up losing. How do you feel about the Bengals approaching this Sunday's game?
Oh, man, I think I feel the same way I felt last year. I think the Titans are going to beat the brakes off them, and I'm going to tell you why. I love our defense. I mean, our defense is flat out phenomenal. I know we always talk about Simmons. I know we always talk about Archer. I know we always talk about Weaver. But the one guy that I think is the rock on that defense is David Long Jr. That cat is flying around. I mean, he's consistently around the ball. Last week, he had 9 tackles. He's just one of those guys that you want to have on your team. So, even though the Bengals won last year, I just can't see them coming in here twice beating the Tennessee Titans, because in my mind, I think we're a better team now than what we were in the playoffs.
So Vrabel was asked about the playoff game last year. Tannehill was asked about the playoff game last year. And they both said, not a revenge game. It's new people,
They're lying.
50%
They're
new.
lying.
Okay, here's my theory. I think the Titans are afraid of Tannehill after the game that he had last week against Green Bay. Cannot take anything away from the game he had against Green Bay.
Right.
I think they're afraid of this PTSD from the Bengals game last year affecting Ryan Tannehill. Are you worried about that? Or do you think that this is a good opportunity for Tannehill given last year's playoff game?
I think it's a great opportunity. When I say it's a great opportunity, we always talking about overcoming adversity and overcome, situations in your life. Because you got to remember last year, everybody was waiting for him to talk in camp and wait for him to speak. And when he actually spoke in camp, listen to the words that he said. He said it was a dark moment in his life, and it was a long time for him to get over. This, Matt Good, man, I'm not trying to preach, but this is a great opportunity for this guy to face what happened last year, to come in here and say, you know what, even though in my mind, even though I'm saying coach talk, and even though I'm saying player talk, but in the back of my mind, this is one thing that I can conquer in my life, because, last year it was a dark moment in my life. So I think that even though he might not say that, oh, it's not a revenge game, I just want to help my player, that's hogwash. It's something that as a human being and as a competitor that you definitely want to overcome. So I think it's a big, big game for Ryan Tannehill.
Chris Sanders, do you think that there's a bigger onus on Tannehill after what happened in the playoffs last year because it's the Bengals this week? Or do you think that he won't really feel that until the playoffs come? Because all those questions are going to come back regardless of who it is in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the Bengals because if you look at last year, what team kicked us out of the playoffs? The Bengals. So I think it's the team because that was the team that took us out of the playoffs. So I just think that's why the magnitude of it is so big because look at the whole situation. Last year, we had home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs. I mean, that means everybody. That means the way to the Super Bowl was coming through Tennessee. But then you have the Bengals that come in and shock the world and beat the Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna tell you something. The coaches may not say it, the players may not say it, but this is a big statement, not just for Tannehill, but a statement for this Tennessee Titans organization and these fans.
Chris Sanders is our guest on the program. Traylon Burks had his best performance of the season. I felt like Robert Woods and Austin Hooper, which we'll get to Hooper in a second. I thought they probably had some of their best performances. I did hear that was your pick to click, which, if I was there, I'd have given you the business on that. And how you and Derek Mason have been so negative towards Austin Hooper. But Burks and Woods specifically, what did you make of that, and can that continue? Because I think that may change the dynamic of the team if that's the case.
Absolutely, 100%. And I know Traylon Burks was, got a bad rap early in the season, but man, he played well in that game. And the one thing that I saw that he did well is he created separation, him and Woods and Westbrook. I mean, we always talk about guys getting open and guys creating separation. I know the couple of games before that they wasn't getting separation, but they actually did it in this game. So I'm glad to see that they're making plays. I'm glad to see that Tannehill is figuring out a way to where he can build trust with those guys. But with these guys playing well in the running game and our defense, let me tell you something, Jared. This is a scary, scary team, and I guarantee you this can definitely continue.
You know what I don't get, Chris, is I hear all these other people across the league talking about their offensive lines and how upset they are with their offensive lines. The Titans have a backup at left tackle. Aaron Brewer's been playing left guard, but he had to play center. They had Dylan Radins playing left guard, so 3 backups basically. Nicholas Petit-Ferrer's a third-round rookie. He wasn't the 7th pick in the draft. And they've got, a legitimate right guard in Nate Davis. That's a backup offensive line, basically. And they went to Green Bay, and I thought they protected Tannehill really, really well on Thursday and maybe didn't get the credit for it. What do we make of the offensive line, given the fact that it's a bunch of backups out there?
Yeah, but the one thing that I know you're saying they're backups and this and that, which is understandable. But when you have guys that fight on every play and want to give everything that they have, it just makes your team better. And we talked about this, or Mike Vrabel talked about this when he's drafting players or bringing guys in. He says he wants to make sure each guy that he brings in is versatile. And when I say versatile, that means you can play any different position. Look at Brewer. You moved him to center. And they didn't even skip a beat. Why? Because that's the culture, and that's what they want. He wants versatile players that you can plug in at any time and get the same results. So, man, this offensive line, man, even though we look at them as not starters, but, man, I'll roll with this offensive line all day long. Number one, why? Because they fight. They're smart. They're not going to take off any plays, and they're tough. So if you have an offensive line that might not be the most athletic, but they'll fight you, and they're tough, man, hey, you can go to war with them cats any game of the week, and I'll take them any day of the week.
Chris Sanders, as always, joining us on a Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Chris
You too,
Sanders.
my man. Thank you so much.
You
Love
and
you
your
guys.
family.
Bye-bye.
We will see you for the pregame show. Chris Sanders joining us. As always, presented by Parman Energy. Parman is hiring fuel drivers at parmanenergy.com. They are hiring fuel drivers at parmanenergy.com today. Speaking of Chris, be sure to join us for the pregame show. That's coming up on Sunday, live from Sonny's Patio Pub and Refuge, located at 1322 6th Avenue North in Germantown. Join me, Chris Sanders, Derek Mason, 9:30 to 11:30 prior to the Titans and the Bengals. Pre-game show is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, Superbook Sports, and Ounce of Hope Cannabis Company. Coming up next, Mike Vrabel's keys to the game on the TV show. And I thought it was very telling, Caroline, what his key to the game against the Bengals was. I was not stunned by it, but it confirmed my belief. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company, right here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You love the game.
The door's on the board. Strike three, sounds win.
We live the game.
Going up against that defense, he can make some plays and take that next step.
We got pass rushers.
Checkered flag in the air.
Awesome game 7.
What a stop made by Houston Sarah.
The game. Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. At the law office of Amanda J. Gentry, we are committed to defending your rights. Being arrested doesn't have to be the worst day of your life. Being served with custody paperwork doesn't have to be the worst day of your life. It may feel that way. But if you have Amanda J. Gentry representing you, you can feel confident that you're going to have the best quality representation in all of Middle Tennessee. Amanda J. Gentry goes wherever justice demands. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
It's Black Friday weekend, and Genesis Diamonds is giving away free Yetis, free pizza ovens, free Always pans, and free smart TVs. When you buy any piece of jewelry at Genesis this weekend, you'll get one of the year's coolest holiday gifts, absolutely free. Stock the tree with something for everyone this year. Spend just $299 or more on a piece of jewelry, and Genesis gives you a free rechargeable hand warmer or shiatsu massager. Spend $500 and you'll get an Ember Smart Mug, or spend at least $1,000 at Genesis this weekend, and you'll get a free mini projector or big horn pizza oven. So you can get her that beautiful ring or pair of earrings for Christmas and get one of the year's hottest gifts at no extra charge. How about a Yeti Tundra when you spend at least $1,800 this weekend? Or listen to this, spend $3,500 on a piece of jewelry and choose between a 55-inch 4K TV and a Dyson Airwrap. Yours free. Don't miss the Black Friday event. This Friday through Cyber Monday, only at Genesis Diamonds. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Open Sundays till Christmas.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/enjoy. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/enjoy. That's BARTESIAN.com/enjoy for Bartesian's best deal ever. Only at bartesian.com/enjoy.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. I don't know about you guys, but I love this time of year. I get to see all the beautiful fall colors, the fantastic weather. We're getting deeper into football season. It's just a reminder that we have so much to be thankful for. And while the automotive industry has been a bit of a roller coaster, we are still so thankful to serve the local community. We love being able to partner with local schools and organizations. We're also so thankful that we've earned business not only from our local communities, from places all across the United States. The response from customers far and wide is, "This was so amazing. I've never had a car buying experience like this." Check out our reviews online to see for yourself. So no matter if you're in the market for a new car, looking to sell your car, or even service your car, come find out why Newton is different. Change your experience. Come see us in store or visit us online at newtonfordsouth.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
We got pass rushers.
Awesome game. Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry here on the program. So, Mike Vrabel yesterday had his coach's TV show, and you all know that there is nobody that watches that TV show like I do with those keys to the game. And I think it's because he gives away the legit, like he tells you what the keys to the game are. And boy, he had a doozy yesterday. You just want to get right to it?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so my theory is that Mike Vrabel has spent all week trying to temper down this Bengals rematch for Ryan Tannehill, right? Remember yesterday when Vrabel was like, not a revenge game, we got 50% new players, and Jeffrey Simmons said that Vrabel opened the team meeting up asking who didn't play in the game last year, and that all the hands went up, and he was like, Jeffrey Simmons was wowed by that. And I joked about how I'm surprised the Titans aren't wearing white uniforms to make the Bengals wear black uniforms so that, it doesn't send Tannehill into that Bengals game PTSD. Well, apparently they're wearing the light blue uniforms as opposed to the dark blue uniforms that they wore last year in the playoffs. I'm not saying that that's why they're doing it, but did we not kind of talk about that yesterday? It's like,
we did
just
talk about that.
Just to
take
keep
out
it out
any
of
the
Tannehill.
common denominators from that day.
Yes, if they could play it in a different stadium, they would. If they could play it at Vandy Stadium, they would, just so Tannehill wouldn't have the same visions of what happened last year in the playoffs. Now, Mike Vrabel was doing his keys to the game. I forget what the special teams – the special teams key was be fast and violent. The defensive key, I forget what I think it was make them earn everything like it was for the Chiefs. And then his offensive key. Now, remember, Ryan Tannehill just threw for 330 yards on national TV. And his offensive key was run the ball and take care of the ball.
Well, we did at times against this team, but just not effectively enough consistently through 4 quarters, and then take care of it. We've talked about the turnover margin and how critical that's going to be. But we know where our strength is, and that's running the football, and we've got to be creative, but we also have to lean on Derek and get going.
So last week, the passing game led the offense. And they really did go hand in hand, the running game and the passing game. But last week, the passing game led the offense. Everybody was impressed with Ryan Tannehill. We got 15 clips of Phil Simms. I'll tell you, Ryan Tannehill has just been phenomenal this season. And the way he throws the ball and all that Phil Simms jargon, and everybody's excited. And here's Vrabel like, we want to run the ball, lean on Derek, and whatever we do, don't turn the ball over. Do you think Vrabel is afraid of Tannehill this week because of what happened last year?
Probably. But also, in that same breath, isn't the key to the game almost every week run the football and don't turn the football over? Isn't that just what this team is built on?
So I forget what the key for the Broncos game was on offense. I do remember that the key for the Kansas City game was run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And we talked about how they're going to have to throw in order to win, but we didn't know that Malik Willis was going to play quarterback. So now we know why the key to the game on
running the
offense
ball
was,
made sense.
Right. It's the only option they had. And as we said, they had to throw the ball in order to win. And the reason that they lost that game to the Chiefs was because
they didn't throw the ball. Because
they
Malik
didn't throw
Willis
the ball.
was the quarterback.
So, maybe. But I don't think, Vrabel's very specific with these keys. He's very specific when he does these shows about what that message is, because that's the message that he's going to tell the team. And so the specific message this week is lean on Derek and don't turn the ball over. And I read that as I am taking the ball out of the quarterback's hands. I'm just thinking about game plan and keys and everything, because the game dictates what happens in a passing game. And I've always argued this with Chris and Derek when we're doing the pregame show before the 2 games that Malik Willis started, because they're like, well, the key in this game is for the offensive game plan to take the ball and put Malik in good spots. And I'm like, that's great, but if it's 3rd and 14, there is not a play call that is good for Malik Willis on 3rd and 14. And we saw that when Kansas City kicked the field goal and the Titans had to score in order to win the game in overtime, and Malik, looked like he had no clue what was going on out there. And so the game dictates how they're going to have to play. Clearly, Vrabel wants to be in 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 4, where they can still run the football. But he absolutely, positively, I don't think he wants the same deep shots that they had last week against Green Bay. Maybe it's something they thought defensively they'd be able to get, against Green Bay that they won't be able to get against Cincinnati. But part of me thinks Vrabel's looking at this game, and he knows what Tannehill did last year against Cincinnati, which we all know what happened to 3 interceptions. And remember, they came out the first play. What'd they do on the first play? Did they run it or did they throw it?
Against the Chiefs?
No, against the Bengals.
They threw it because
and what happened?
That first play was an interception.
We're not doing that this year. Just run the ball. And I do wonder if that's Vrabel just saying, you know what? I like my defense so much that I am going to tell everybody all week, we're going to run the ball. I'm going to tell the offensive line, we're going to gear up for the run. I'm going to tell the receivers, you have to go in there and dig out these safeties, and you have to block these guys up because I am not putting the ball in my quarterback's hands because I do not trust my quarterback in this game against this team after what happened last season. And I think Vrabel's afraid of Tannehill. I think he's afraid of two things.
They're going to have to throw the football.
They're going to have to throw it a little bit, but they could get by throwing for 150 yards and win some of these games.
Yes, they can.
I wonder if Vrabel's plan, as far as Tannehill, this twofold plan. One is to try to avoid having Ryan Tannehill run out on the field on Sunday and feel like it's January 22nd of this year. That it's not the continuation of the playoff game last year. Hence, all of the, this is not a revenge game stuff from Vrabel and Tannehill yesterday. And I wonder if the second part of it is, against this team, I don't want his hands on the ball to make those big decisions because he's like Big Bird. And he's nice, and he's tall, and he's yellow, but he just can't make the big decisions against Cincinnati. So instead,
I don't know if I'm following that comparison.
I'm going to have Bert do it, or I'm going to have, one of the actual grown-ups like Maria or Gordon do it, but not Ryan Tannehill, not Big Bird. And maybe that's the way that he feels about this game.
Yeah, I think you lost me there.
But, it's a reference to The Office.
But and to my point, they're going to have to throw the football. But that's why when we were discussing yesterday, should Mike Vrabel put this kind of pressure on Ryan Tannehill so that Ryan Tannehill gets used to the pressure? So that whenever January 17th, 2023 rolls around and the Titans are in the divisional round of the playoffs, he's not having PTSD flashbacks to what happened this last January against the Bengals. I understand that line of thinking. But I think that Ryan Tannehill has probably looked at this game all season long and thought, I have to redeem myself against the Bengals. And I'm sure that's the last thing Mike Vrabel wants Ryan Tannehill to be thinking going into this game of, I have to play hero ball. I have to redeem myself. You don't have to do anything. Take care of the football, win this game, move on.
I don't think Tannehill's been looking forward to this game. I think Tannehill, I think he's looking away from it. I think
maybe
he
not
doesn't,
looking forward, but anxious about it.
No, I think Tannehill. This is just my assessment of his feelings. I think he wants to forget that game ever happened. I think he wants to pretend it never happened. I don't think he wants payback. I don't think he wants. This is not Michael Jordan, that heard Byron Russell tell him when he was playing baseball that he's mad that Michael retired because he thought he could guard him. And then 4 years later in the NBA Finals, going up and drilling a shot over him because he had been on my list. That's just not, to me, that's just not Tannehill. I think Tannehill wishes that game never happened. I think he wishes that game was never brought up. I think he tries to keep that game out of his memory. That's my assessment of it. I could be wrong.
Then why say it's not a revenge game?
Because that's what the coaches told everybody to say. And it's not a revenge game. Because
I think it goes beyond what the coaches told him to say. I think it is the message to the team.
Well, that's because Vrabel's afraid. I think Vrabel's afraid of Tannehill going back to that game and going into that, dark tunnel, as opposed to Tannehill being too amped up to play the Bengals.
I don't think it's amped up. I think it's just he views it as this is my opportunity to redeem myself. And I don't agree with that line of thinking because I think it's just move past it. Redeem yourself every single Sunday. It's not about the Bengals. It's not about one particular team. It's the fact that you didn't take care of the football and you hurt this team's chance at a Super Bowl. That's what it is. It's not about the Bengals. But I do wonder how much of it is personal with Ryan Tannehill.
I do actually have a second thought on this with Tannehill and the Bengals that I haven't heard anybody discuss, that I haven't even really thought about, except for one Instagram story that I remember from 2 years ago. I'll explain that. I know that sounds really crazy and wild, but I'll explain it. 615-737-1025 is our phone number here on the program, and we will get to your phones on the Tannehill front. And again, I think Vrabel is trying to set the environment so that Ryan Tannehill does not think anything of last year. They're even wearing different uniforms for this game on Sunday. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is a place full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals to get a $50 gift card for only $25 to Bavarian Beer House while supplies last. Also, be sure to tune into the college football game of the week on 102.5, 106.3 The Game this Saturday as MTSU takes on Florida International at 5 o'clock. The college football game of the week is brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of 29-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
185! Every team needs a quarterback. 185! That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown.
Tim. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
How that team is built, I think there's a lot to like about them.
Every Tuesday at noon, Tim with Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Presented by Red Spirit and Wine in Bellevue on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Hey, it's Eddie George. You know we all have crazy busy lives and don't take time to research car insurance, right? Well, you don't have to. Xander Insurance does all the work for you. Their system shops over 15 top companies to find you the best rates, and they keep shopping every year. Their clients have saved an average of $600. That's why I'm a client. Xander gives me more options. More options means more savings. Get free quotes at XanderInsurance.com or call 800-356-1780.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from TaylorMade and Bushnell. Featuring the TaylorMade Stealth Carbon Woods with 60 layers of carbon for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen TP5 golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 Shift rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Your bills are due on the 13th, but you don't get paid until the 15th. Sound familiar? Life doesn't always wait for payday. Get the NetSpend All Access account for your everyday mobile banking needs and get paid up to 2 days faster with direct deposit. Get started today at netspend.com and go beyond banking. Banking services provided by an account established by Pathward NA member FDIC. Faster access based on comparison of our ACH processing policy versus posting funds at settlement. Deposit account opening is subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Brian, your coach says Sunday is not a revenge game. Are you of that mindset as well?
Yeah, no doubt. Just like I said after Thursday night, that was last year. Half this team, wasn't even here. So this is a new team facing another new team. Obviously, a game we want to win, but it has nothing to do with last year.
There you go, Ryan Tannehill. Nothing to do with last year. We're moved on. It's different teams. Doesn't matter, does it? Mike Vrabel's key to the game, though. Run the ball and don't turn it over.
That's the key. That's the kicker there. Don't turn the football over.
And so something I was thinking about, we all know about what happened last year against the Bengals game, and obviously this show spent a lot of time discussing that Bengals game. But there is something that I have in the back of my mind, and I remember it because I remember posting an Instagram story as like something that I thought would be funny or whatever. This was November 2nd, 2020, right after the Titans had gone to the Bengals. The Bengals were awful, and the Titans lost. And I had a piece of paper which I wrote with a Sharpie. Titans versus Bengals. Trash on the right-hand column. Not trash on the left-hand column. Not trash. Derrick Henry, Corey Davis, uniforms. Titans wore the navy with the white pants, which they never wear anymore. Now, I love that classic navy with the white pants. So, not trash. Trash. Defense. And remember, that was one of those 2020 defense games that was just atrocious. Trash. Defense. Coaching. Special teams. Ryan Tannehill. Clowney and Beasley. Scott Novak's crew. Jonathan Joseph. This was the game. Ian, you remember this one that got Jonathan Joseph basically kicked out of the NFL.
Yeah, he got cut pretty quick after that.
I mean, that was one of the all-time bad games I've ever. I mean, Jonathan Joseph's performance against the Bengals in that game put Caleb Farley in the Hall of Fame. So, Tannehill, I remember Tannehill, who was having an excellent season and did have an excellent season. I included him in the trash category of that game. So it's not just last year's playoff game against the Bengals where Tannehill has struggled, but it's the 2 times that he's played the Bengals as the quarterback of the Titans. Tannehill was 18 of 30 for 233, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Both the touchdowns came in the fourth quarter. So the first touchdown made it 24-14 in the fourth quarter. The second one with 5 minutes to go made it 31-20. So that was just a prevent defense. He threw an interception in the red zone. He's one of the best red zone quarterbacks in the NFL. He threw an interception in the red zone in the first series. So the interceptions, yes, the interceptions with the Bengals are really nothing new. He's been terrible against the Bengals. And then I take it a step further, which is, who's the coach of the Bengals? Zach Taylor. What was Zach Taylor? Do you remember, Caroline, how Zach Taylor got in the NFL?
Because he was the quarterback's coach at Texas A&M.
He was not the quarterback's coach. He was the tight ends coach.
Tight ends coach.
He was the tight ends coach at Texas A&M. Zach Taylor was a quarterback at Nebraska, and he was the tight ends coach at Texas A&M. Mike Sherman, the head coach at A&M, got fired. So they fired Mike Sherman. Miami drafts Ryan Tannehill in the first round, and they hire Mike Sherman to be the offensive coordinator. So they hire his coach. Zach Taylor was brought in as the quarterback coach of the Miami Dolphins. So Zach Taylor knew Ryan Tannehill in college as the tight ends coach and then worked with him for years. I believe 2012, 13, 14, 15, 4 years. Zach Taylor was the quarterback coach with Ryan Tannehill, including a year in 2015 where the head coach, Joe Philbin, got fired and Dan Campbell got promoted to interim coach. And I believe Zach Taylor was kind of running a lot of stuff at that point with Tannehill. So he knows Tannehill as well as any coach in the league probably knows Ryan Tannehill. And Ryan Tannehill has played poorly against the Bengals. And I wonder, going back to Mike Vrabel's key on the Coach's TV show, I wonder if Mike Vrabel is doing that because he doesn't trust Tannehill against this team and specifically this coach.
The only hole that I would poke in that argument is that last year, Ryan Tannehill's performance against the Bengals was not an outlier. It was just another game in a string of games where Tannehill was turning the ball over, where Tannehill was throwing interceptions. All last season, Tannehill was throwing interceptions. So yes, while the Bengals game is going to be one that we look at and circle and highlight, because Ryan Tannehill, one, single-handedly lost it, but also because it was a playoff game, it wasn't the only game he turned the ball over. But I looked at 2020. But 2020, he was balling out all season long.
So
I mean, was that a season low against the Bengals?
The 233? Mm-hmm. Probably not, because I think he threw for the Bills turned the ball over a couple times. I think he threw for 140 yards, and they crushed the Bills in one game because they turned it over, and they were 6 of 6 in the red zone or something like that. But I go back to last season, in which Tannehill actually played well the last two games and didn't turn the ball over, and we kept saying, if he doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. If he doesn't turn the ball over, and immediately the Bengals force a turnover. Just like in the game in 2020 when the Bengals sucked, and immediately he turned the ball over in the red zone. I think Zach Taylor knows something. Think he knows Tannehill's buttons, and I think Vrabel's afraid of that. And so Vrabel's not going to come out and say, hey, you've had 2 games against this team. You've turned the ball over 4 times, all 4 incredibly crucial moments. Remember the NFL Films feed where the DB was like, oh, I know what he's going to do. He's going to throw that. When he does, I'm going to pick it off. I wonder if there's something about the Bengals that Tannehill struggles with. Now, Tannehill, you're right. Tannehill had a bad year last year. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if it's this team in particular. Now, I thought Arthur Smith called a terrible game in that Bengals game in 2020 because they literally could have handed the ball off to Derrick Henry and run up the middle every play and scored on every drive just by running it. And they did to start the second half, where they ran Henry so much that he had to come out and Foreman had to go in because they were running the ball so much. And so I do wonder if Vrabel – I was mad at Arthur Smith that I felt like they got away from that in that Cincinnati game. So I wonder if that's Vrabel's key is also for the play caller of, hey, give the ball to the running backs. Give it to them. Because they did run for 140 yards or whatever last year against the Bengals in the playoffs. 615-737-1025. Our phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. And I can't blame Vrabel if he doesn't trust Tannehill in this game because I don't trust Tannehill in this game. What do we have in the text line?
One texter texts in and says, you aren't giving Tannehill enough credit. He's been balling this season. He's been playing Tannehill ball, and I don't think it's specifically one team only that he turns the ball over against.
Tannehill was playing great ball in 2020, and he had a terrible game against the Bengals. He was included on the trash list from my Sharpie on November 2nd, 2020. That's all I can remember specifically about that.
Was it a bad game or was it a bad interception?
It was a horrible interception. I mean, I can't tell you the exact game. I didn't watch tape, but I can tell you that I did put him on the trash list for whatever reason. And it was a bad interception. It was one of those, it's what I call a Dr. Phil interception. It's one of those, what were you thinking when you threw that ball? It's like Vince Young used to throw about one of those a game, and I was like, which is kind of how I felt Thursday night with
That's what
the
I was going to
interception.
say. Well, what about Green Bay? That was a what were you thinking?
I was so mad at that interception last Thursday.
But he
It
wasn't
was
trash on Thursday.
No, it was good. But they were right there on the doorstep of just blowing the game open. And he just throws it right to their guy. But Bob Shoop said it, happens all the time. So maybe, we shouldn't be mad about it. 615-737-1025. What else we got?
Another texter text in the text line says, ever since that playoff game, I've been absolutely terrified of the Bengals.
I'm not really worried about the Bengals. I'm worried about Tannehill. I mean, I think the Bengals are a good team. I think they're 6-4 or whatever, and their schedule the rest of the way is freaking brutal. So I'm not even sure if they'll make the playoffs. I have an immense amount of respect for that quarterback. I think they've got great receivers. I think their defense, they've got a good pass rush, which I think is another thing that Vrabel's probably a little worried about because they've got Trey Hendrickson and they've got Sam Hubbard, that rush the passer and do a pretty good job of it. I mean, they're a solid team.
They're a solid team.
But I'm not scared of the Bengals. There's no team left on the schedule that I am quote unquote scared about. I'm not scared of the Eagles. I'm not scared of the Cowboys.
Cowboys?
No, not scared of the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to be 4.5-point favorites when they play that game, and I think that's going to be the easiest money ever made. I think the Titans are going to beat the crap out of the Cowboys. I think they're going to run it right up the Cowboys' tush, and there's nothing Dallas is going to be able to do about it because Dallas stinks at stopping the run, and I don't think Dallas is a particularly tough team, and it's going to be outdoors at New Year's, and I think that has Cowboy butt kicking written all over it. The Eagles next week, right now I'd pick the Eagles, but the Cowboys, I'm not worried about the Cowboys. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll get back into your phones here coming up, 615-737-1025 on the Cincinnati game. Be sure to tune into the post-game show. That's right. Join Jonathan Hutton and Chad Withrow live from the Superbook Lounge and Landshark Bar and Grill, Margaritaville on Broadway. The post-game show is brought to you by Renters Warehouse, Two Rivers Ford. Custom order your new Ford from Two Rivers Ford. And Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Want a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Preds game?
Yes.
Tune in to Robbie and Rex Road every weekday Preds game day at 8:45 for Preds Pick to Click. Guess a goal scorer and win.
I'll take Roman Yost. Matt Duchesne.
Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are referred so often. And by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Preds Pick to Click.
We are 102.5 and 106.3. The Game.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture, eat strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here, and you know what's better than Black Friday? Gold Friday with the Nashville Predators. Looking for the perfect gift to give this holiday season? Check out the Smashville Stocking Stuffer presented by 47 Brand and Local IQ. 2 hockey tickets, a Preds hat, and a $20 food voucher starting at $79. Shop up to 50% off select merchandise at Nashville Locker Room. Friday, November 26th from 7 to 11 a.m. Visit NashvillePredators.com/Gold Friday to view this year's deals. That's NashvillePredators.com/Gold Friday to view this year's deals.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/enjoy. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/enjoy. That's BARTESIAN.com/enjoy for Bartesian's best deal ever, only at bartesian.com/enjoy.
At the Home Depot, we have Black Friday savings all through November. And with that comes a joyful holiday bustle that we just love to hear. Although we also love the sound that comes after the holidays, when people put their new tools to use. In fact, we love it so much. When you buy select Milwaukee M18 kits, you'll get an extra tool for free. So after you're done filling the air with holiday magic, you can fill it with the sounds of doing. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Dear online threats, after all the time we spent together, I'm finally ready to say goodbye. I have to admit, I was careless. At first, I thought maybe you were not so bad. Then, after you moved into my software, I believed I was too weak to stop you. I was wrong. I can do better. So you know what? I have NordVPN now. See you? Never. Everyone can boost their digital confidence with NordVPN. All it takes is one simple click. NordVPN will block online trackers, hide your virtual location, and secure your device from malware-infected files during downloads. It will also detect malicious websites. So catch the Black Friday deal for a 1 or 2 year plan at NordVPN.com and get 3 months for free. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Laura Rutledge from the SEC Network, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The top 10, the college football playoff top 25. Less than 2 weeks remaining, 2 more rankings, and you should note that the lowest anybody's been ranked and made it into the playoff at this juncture is number 7. Tennessee falls 5 spots after getting blown out by South Carolina.
And I think the key point is losing Hendon Hooker for the rest of the season. And so not just the loss, but if you're ranking Tennessee at this stage, you rank them without Hendon Hooker on that roster, and that makes you lose a couple more places in the rankings.
The issue that I have here, though, is that this will affect what bowl game Tennessee ultimately goes to. We know they're not going to a playoff game. We know that. We get that. But Tennessee has earned the right to be in a more highly prioritized bowl than LSU and or Alabama. They
with
beat
Hendon
both
Hooker, though.
Correct.
With Hendon Hooker.
But still, it's the rest of the team still was a part of those.
But you rank them with the players they have now.
But it's also very likely that all of them are going to be in the year 6 there.
I love how Reese Davis is like, guys, we got to move it along. We got to get to number 9. We got to get to number 8. We got to move it along. Sorry. We got to go. We can't just spend here all day talking about Tennessee, which is an interesting discussion I do want to touch on about the idea of, do you punish Tennessee in the rankings because they don't have Hendon Hooker? That being said, at 10, you heard what Greg McElroy said right there. Mm-hmm. Brett McMurphy tweeted out the same thing. They're not going to the Sugar Bowl. They're not going to the Orange Bowl. So at best, even with a win against Vanderbilt on Saturday, which is no sure thing, which is also something that is disheartening to say if we're talking about the same Tennessee team that we've been talking about for the last 3 months. The best they can do is go to the Cotton Bowl. And the Cotton Bowl is still a New Year's 6 bowl, but there's just something about the Cotton Bowl and the Peach Bowl that when they aren't playoff games, they just don't have the juice of the rest of the New Year's 6, of the Orange Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. It's not. The Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, like that is, the Rose Bowl. That is the Sugar Bowl. And instead it's like the Cotton Bowl. Maybe. And it's like, woof. All this season just wasted. And I cannot get over this. And I tweeted that out last night, that I was like, when Brett McMurphy said that Tennessee is definitely not going to the Sugar Bowl and probably not going to the Orange Bowl now. And I tweeted out, I go, so this season was for nothing. And, I mean, Twitter got so mad at me yesterday. Woo!
I mean, I understand. Let's say hypothetically, if LSU does beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, then they go to the playoffs. That would leave a spot open for the Sugar Bowl. Does Alabama really deserve to be in the Sugar Bowl over Tennessee?
Does Alabama deserve to be in the Sugar Bowl over Tennessee?
I mean, I know that Alabama is ranked higher than Tennessee where it is right now. And
Which I think is kind of bull crap.
I do too. I mean, I understand that Alabama's one of their losses is to the number 5 team in the country right now, but also one of their losses is to Tennessee. And I understand that recency bias is a big part of this. But Alabama being ranked 3 spots higher than Tennessee seems a little crooked to me.
So I think the number one thing for LSU is I think they need to root for Michigan to lose for Michigan to lose on Saturday, because if Ohio State wins, they're going to take a 1-loss Ohio State team over a 2-loss LSU team. I'm convinced of it.
If LSU wins the SEC championship game, then they will get in. If they lose, they will not.
I don't think so. If Ohio State loses to Michigan, I could see them putting a 1-loss Ohio State in over a 2-loss SEC champion LSU. And the reason I say that is because, back to the Alabama point, they love Ohio State. They love Ohio State, just like they love Alabama. I don't even like this Alabama team. And I consider myself friends with the coach, and I don't even like this Alabama team. I think they, for them, they stink for Alabama. Now, I don't know if they're ranking Tennessee behind Alabama because of Hendon Hooker, or if they're ranking Tennessee behind Alabama because the 2 games Alabama lost were by the skin of their teeth to Tennessee and LSU in the last play, and Tennessee just gave up 63 points to South Carolina. But the message still stands, which is that this season was all for nothing if Tennessee doesn't get to a good bowl game. And the Cotton Bowl, oh, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, I'm a little torn here, because if they go to the Cotton Bowl, it's not the Sugar Bowl, it's not the Orange Bowl, but it is a New Year's Six Bowl, and they've never been to a New Year's Six Bowl since this process has been out there. And I'm trying to think of the last time they went to a BCS Bowl. Did they go to a BCS Bowl in 2001? I don't think they did. I think LSU took that SEC slot in the Sugar Bowl because Nebraska played Miami in the championship. So I don't think they went to a BCS Bowl then. I don't think they've been to a BCS. I could be wrong about this one. I don't think they've been to a BCS Bowl since they won a Fiesta Bowl in 98. And so, the New Year's Six is technically a BCS game, or what used to be a BCS game. It is, and the Cotton Bowl is technically part of that. But man, to have the season that they had, and to have almost nothing to show for it.
Well, to have the season they had and to miss the playoff, I think, is the bigger story here. But to miss the playoff and miss the Sugar Bowl potentially, and that's also making the assumption that they're going to beat Vanderbilt on Saturday. I do think that they will, but this game is a lot more interesting than I expected it to be at least 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I'm with you. I mean, the Cotton Bowl to me, yes, it's the New Year's Six Bowl, and yes, if your team's in it, you'd be excited about that. But the way that this team has played, I mean, man. And if Alabama, let's say if LSU goes to the CFP and Alabama goes to the Sugar Bowl, I think that Tennessee fans have every right to be a little upset with that.
But then at least Tennessee goes to the Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
at
that's
least
true.
Tennessee
would go to the Orange Bowl.
Gets into a better bowl game. I still don't think LSU's getting in unless it's over Michigan. I think a 1-loss Ohio State would be ahead of an LSU who just went off and beat Georgia. I do.
And maybe
just
so,
because of how much they love Ohio State. What's that?
But Tennessee fans better hope that LSU gets in.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect, I don't even think it's worth talking about because I think Georgia is.
I don't think it's going to happen.
But
I'm just saying that is, if to not be in the Cotton Bowl is LSU getting in, and that's what's really, really sad too. Is Tennessee has controlled their own destiny this entire season, and now they just have to hope and pray that other teams lose along the way, so they don't end up in an embarrassing bowl.
I mean, that's so disappointing for the season that they had. Boy, Twitter was mad at me yesterday. Oh, my goodness gracious. It was like I had committed a felony because I said that, the season was all for nothing. If they don't go to the Sugar Bowl, the Orange Bowl. I mean, this great season in which the non-tangible things, that's great. We were on College Game Day 2 weeks in a row, and we threw the goalposts into the river, and, we brought respect back to our program. And the non-tangible things, those are fine because you can argue them however you want to argue them. You can argue the fact of, hey, we beat Alabama for the first time in 15 years. Congratulations. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that A&M beat them. Nobody cares that South Carolina and Steven Garcia beat them in 2010. That'd be like South Carolina saying, hey, I know that we kind of stink, but we beat Tennessee this year and hung 63 on them. And guess what? 2 weeks from now,
that is what they're saying.
Nobody will care, though. Like when Shane Beamer gets there to SEC Media Days and is like, people are taking South Carolina seriously because we beat Tennessee by 30 last year, everyone's going to be like,
no,
yeah, that's right. You did do that. We're not taking you seriously.
And also, nobody's taking you seriously.
No, but you did do that. And so it's so sad. It's so sad for Tennessee that they have this great season, and here they are. And I do wonder if Joey Galloway and Greg McElroy are onto something, that Tennessee's getting dropped because Hendon Hooker got hurt. I normally don't believe in that kind of stuff. It reminds me of, I want to say Cincinnati got into the NCAA tournament, should have been a 1 seed years ago. Kenyon Martin got hurt and wasn't going to play. And because of that, they ended up making, I think, Cincinnati a 2 seed, and they got beat in the first round. But normally they don't do that about the injury dropping a team, but maybe that had a part into it with the Hendon Hooker thing. 615. Go ahead.
My understanding was of it with injuries is if your quarterback is hurt for a game and you lose that game, then the committee would be more willing to give you a benefit of the doubt in terms of injuries. But I've never heard of the committee docking you for an injured quarterback, but news to me.
615-737-1025. We'll roll it into your phones here on Stillman and Company. We got that. We got the Titans on the table, whatever. It's Thanksgiving. We're in such a good mood. 615-737-1025. Hey, TriStar Moving. Those are my official movers. I love my friends at TriStar Moving. I don't know anybody who gets excited about moving. Certainly not me. It's stressful. It takes a ton of time, and it is not fun. But when I found my friends at TriStar Moving when I moved 2 years ago, it was a blast, which I'm dead serious about. Why? Because it made the process so easy. And that's why I always tell people who are looking to move, hey, call TriStar Moving. Get a bid. You'll work with their awesome sales staff. You'll get to see what they're all about. But more importantly, you'll get a bid. And when you get the bid, I think you'll compare it with other movers, and you'll be like, we're going with TriStar. Plus, if you tell them I sent you, you'll get 10% off, which, considering that moving is incredibly expensive, 10% off is really good. That's a lot of money. So that's TriStar Moving, and they've got their new utility vans that'll help with pack jobs and separate the high valuable from fragile items so that nothing gets busted. They're great. If you're looking to move, give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio. They'll give you 10% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you for 10% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving. My guys, my official movers.
Every Wednesday at 2:45.
Sanders for the touchdown, 48 yards.
Former NFL wide receiver Chris Sanders joins Stillman and Company to give his thoughts on all things Titans and NFL. Fueled by Parman Energy, now hiring fuel drivers. Apply now at ParmanEnergy.com on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center,
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. Great day ahead of us here for this Getaway Wednesday. High temperatures today going to be in the middle 60s. Plenty of sunshine. Rain, however, does move into the forecast for Thanksgiving right around dinner time.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Attention hockey fans, come see Northeastern and Western Michigan face off at this year's Music City Hockey Classic in a matchup of two of the NCAA's top 20 ranked college teams. At Bridgestone Arena, Friday, November 25th, 6:30 p.m. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. Let the puck drop and the excitement begin. Northeastern Huskies versus the Western Michigan Broncos in Nashville, November 25th.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
It's Black Friday weekend, and Genesis Diamonds is giving away free Yetis, free pizza ovens, free Always pans, and free smart TVs. When you buy any piece of jewelry at Genesis this weekend, you'll get one of the year's coolest holiday gifts, absolutely free. Stock the tree with something for everyone this year. Spend just $299 or more on a piece of jewelry, and Genesis gives you a free rechargeable hand warmer or shiatsu massager. Spend $500 and you'll get an Ember Smart Mug, or spend at least $1,000 at Genesis this weekend, and you'll get a free mini projector or big horn pizza oven. So you can get her that beautiful ring or pair of earrings for Christmas and get one of the year's hottest gifts at no extra charge. How about a Yeti Tundra when you spend at least $1,800 this weekend? Or listen to this, spend $3,500 on a piece of jewelry and choose between a 55-inch 4K TV and a Dyson Airwrap. Yours free. Don't miss the Black Friday event. This Friday through Cyber Monday, only at Genesis Diamonds. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Open Sundays till Christmas.
Chase McCabe.
Competition in all positions.
Willie Donick.
You know what? I went on the radio and I tried.
And Derek Mason.
The man that sleeps on the floor never falls out to bed.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company on this Thanksgiving Day Eve. Play silly underdog picks. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win great prizes. Play now at theGameNashville.com or the 102.5 The Game app. Silly Underdog Picks is presented by Volunteer Hose and Gasket and Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sports book in Vegas. Download their app today. Jason Fitz usually joins us on a Thursday, on a Wednesday. But with Thanksgiving, moving things around, we got Jared versus Joe. We got the Predators tonight. So Jason Fitz not going to join us today. He's brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. Again, that is Blood Assurance. Give blood, give local, save lives. A great thing to do around this holiday season. Let's go to your phones. Phone lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Steve Texan says, here's a hypothetical about Tennessee. What if Hendon Hooker gets injured, but Tennessee beats South Carolina and then Vanderbilt? Are they still in the playoff due to the loss of their quarterback?
No. Yeah. No, they're out of the playoff.
Hypothetically, if Tennessee beats South Carolina and Vandy, but Hendon Hooker gets hurt.
Oh, if they had beaten South Carolina?
Yeah, and then Vandy, they'd still be in.
Probably not.
Why probably not?
Well, I think Tennessee probably wouldn't have gotten in even if they had gone undefeated if USC beats Notre Dame and wins the Pac-12 and TCU stays unbeaten. But without Hendon Hooker, then the discussion becomes Tennessee or Michigan. And if Tennessee doesn't have Hendon Hooker, I think they probably would take the loser of Ohio State, Michigan over Tennessee.
Maybe.
And they love those teams. Even though they don't play anybody, they freaking love Ohio State and Michigan.
They really
So I'm going to say no. What's next?
Jeff from Hendersonville says if LSU loses to Georgia, then Tennessee should go ahead of LSU in the rankings and get a better bowl.
See, I don't know that at 5, if LSU loses to Georgia, the #1 team in the country, that they'll drop them below 10.
Yeah, and also I don't know how the committee penalizes teams in terms of a bowl bid if they're in the conference championship. Because then that would de-incentivize competing for a conference championship.
Oh, I
See
mean,
what I'm
there's
saying?
sometimes where you're better off not playing in the conference championship than you would be playing in it. Like Alabama lost to Auburn in 2017. And so they didn't have to play Georgia in the SEC championship game. Auburn did. Auburn lost. Auburn was out, and Alabama went to the playoff. I mean, sometimes the conference championship game can screw you just as much as anything else. Like last year, Alabama needed that conference championship game because that propelled them into the playoff by beating Georgia. Right. But sometimes it hurts you. I mean, I think the conference championship game probably hurts LSU this year because they probably do lose to Georgia, but I don't think it drops them far enough. And the highest ranked SEC team not in the playoff goes to the Sugar Bowl. And I can't see LSU dropping beneath Alabama when LSU beat Alabama. Although Alabama will have 2 losses, LSU will have 3. But then the question for the Sugar Bowl spot is still LSU or Alabama. And since everybody is projecting that LSU is going to the Sugar Bowl, I think the assumption with those projections is that Georgia is going to beat LSU. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the projection. So I don't think – I mean, look, when Brett McMurphy says there is nobody who is more plugged into college football than Brett McMurphy. I mean, I've known Brett McMurphy for 10 years. There is nobody who is more plugged in than he is. He was everything that Adrian Wojnarowski is for basketball. He was for college football when he was at ESPN, and he still has great sources. And when Brett McMurphy tweets out last night, Tennessee is definitely not going to the Sugar Bowl, and they're probably not going to the Orange Bowl, he's telling you. He's not, I think, he's telling you Tennessee is not going to the Sugar Bowl, and they're probably not going to the Orange Bowl, which leads them with the Cotton Bowl. Now, I did see some people texting in about the idea that, hey, the Cotton Bowl is still a New Year's Six game, and that is fair. You know, even though the projections are Tulane. Why is Tulane in this? Why is not a real team in there?
Not a bad team.
We want real teams in these
top 20.
big bowl games.
They're
top 20.
Yeah.
Well, so?
I'm just saying, you say a real team. Well, they're 19th ranked team in the country, ranked above Ole Miss.
19th?
I said top 20. 19 is top 20.
19 in a New Year's Six? Shouldn't we have the best 12 teams in the New Year's Six?
Ideally, yes.
So, you know, the 11th best team or 13th best team is getting left out so we can get the 19th best Tulane in there.
And it may be assumptions that teams 12 through 19 or 13 through 16 are going to lose, or 18 rather, are going to lose.
Who is that? Like, I'd rather play Oregon than play Tulane. That's
Oregon's
more fun.
at 9. Yeah.
So the winner of the Pac-12, which is probably going to be USC, the winner of the Pac-12, if USC doesn't go to the playoff, the winner of the Pac-12 is going to go to the Rose Bowl. But if USC goes to the playoff, then Oregon goes to the Rose Bowl, I would assume. So, I don't know. I just, the Cotton Bowl, it's a good bowl, but is it?
It's a good bowl, but it doesn't carry the same, oomph like the Sugar Bowl does.
Right, like Arkansas goes to the Cotton Bowl every now and then. Ole Miss goes to the
Cotton Bowl.
Right, that's the point. It's like if Tennessee is some elite SEC program, eventually you've got to go to some of these bowl games that not everybody in the SEC, not named Kentucky, gets to go to every once in a while.
Like if you don't make the playoff, the Sugar Bowl is a fine consolation prize.
Absolutely. If you grew up in the South, the Sugar Bowl is a big deal, just like the Rose Bowl is a big deal if you grew up out on the West Coast. What else we got?
Slick texts into the text line and says, what do any of the bowls matter if it's not a playoff bowl?
I mean, there is something about the big bowl games. There is something about, and I go back to the Sugar Bowl that we were just talking about, but I use the Rose Bowl kind of as the example. The TV ratings for the Rose Bowl, I don't know what it is, but the TV ratings for the Rose Bowl every year are astronomical. And it is an honor if you play in the Big Ten, even if you're Ohio State and you're used to going to the playoff almost every year, it is an honor to play in the Rose Bowl. That's why when USC and UCLA bolted from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, it was like, and then it was like, they're going to blow up the Rose Bowl. And the Big Ten was like, yeah, we know. We know. And it's like, how dare you blow up the Rose Bowl? Because the Rose Bowl is just so special. And sometimes I think the Rose Bowl whiffs their own farts too much, and it's like, guys, it ain't all roses, literally. But at the end of the day, those bowls are special. Sugar Bowl is a special bowl. Orange Bowl is a special bowl. The Peach Bowl, which this year's a playoff game, so it's different, but the two bowls that they added to the New Year's Six from the BCX, yes, the two bowls they added from the New Year's Six, the Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, are not as good as the other New Year's Six bowls. And I thought that I was going to get right. I thought I was going to get crushed for feeling that way, but I think most people kind of agree that the Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, when they're not playoff games, are kind of Johnny-come-lately games, and they're just not the same juice. And that's why Tulane is probably going to be playing in one of these. 615-737-1025. Joe Rexroad will join us for an early edition of Jared versus Joe. And boy, do we have a lot to argue about. So we will do that arguing. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to weigh in for Jared versus Joe, which we don't really take calls for, but I just threw out the number anyways because I'm accustomed to doing that. Hey, tune in for tomorrow's NFL Game of the Week on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. The Game of the Week will feature the New York Football Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys at 3 o'clock. The Game of the Week is brought to you by Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue and Superbook Sports, voted the #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute. Disastrous.
I hate that.
It's got to be there.
That's okay. Download the Game Nashville app or go to thegamenashville.com and listen live. We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Hey, it's Hutton for the Low T Center. Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-injected home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks, the Southeast leader for crane and equipment rental, is looking for the best in the business to fill positions as qualified operators, truck drivers, and mechanics. Craneworks provides superior customer service and a superior work environment. Start lifting Nashville to new heights and apply today at craneworks.com/careers. That's craneworks.com/careers.
Signs First, Nashville's leading locally owned and operated sign and physical media company, has been supporting local community organizations for over 30 years. Signs First offers a 10% discount to all churches, nonprofits, and charities. Go to sfnash.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Don't wait! Get Black Friday pricing all week long at Electronic Express. Hurry into our convenient locations for the hottest gifts like 4K TVs, computers, tablets, smart home, appliances, and more. Plus, buy now, pay later with up to 48 months free financing. Electronic Express has all of your favorite brands like Samsung, LG, Whirlpool, Sony, Apple, and more. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com. Stores open early this Friday at 5 a.m. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
These are battles, these are grinds. We don't panic, we don't freak out. That's how we're built. 1, 2, 3, 9.
This is your drive to the playoffs update, presented by Coleman Tractor, Tennessee's largest Kubota dealer, on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The Tennessee Titans were back on the practice field Wednesday as they continue preparation to host the Cincinnati Mike Vrabel.
This is not a revenge game. More than half of our team didn't even play in that game. But I think trying to have some familiarity with who they are, have a lot of respect for them, obviously in all three phases. I'm sure they're still going to try to get the ball to their elite skill players and whoever those may be based on availability. Defensively, they're going to make it tough for you. Very, very good front and aggressive secondary.
Offensive coordinator Todd Downing spoke to the media for the first time since his citation for a DUI last Friday morning following the win over Green Bay.
It's devastating that my actions or anything that I'm involved with could ever bring negative attention to or bring distractions to this organization, to the ownership, Miss Amy, to the front office, and obviously Coach Vrabel. I thank Coach Vrabel and John Robinson and Miss Amy for allowing me the opportunity to lead this offense going into this weekend.
This report is presented by Coleman Tractor. I'm Ian Safar for 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3. Terang, it's a high fly ball. We got pass rushers. Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Where you have a voice.
We're one play away from an injury.
He knows this. He's a study of the game.
And we have strong opinions.
He's been awful. I don't think they were trying, and that's why I feel the way I feel.
This is Stillman and Company with Jared Stillman and Caroline Fenton. Presented by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. We got a lot of stuff to get to. We got the Titans against the Bengals. They say it's not a revenge game, but it is the remembrance of Ryan Tannehill pooping his pants. We've got the Predators have won a bunch of games ever since we yelled and screamed about how bad they are. We've got Tennessee dropping in the college football playoff rankings, but it is Thanksgiving. And so because the Predators pregame is in less than an hour, the puck drops in less than 2 at Detroit, Joe Rexrode joins us, I assume from Detroit, where he's rooting on the Michigan State Spartans for a little Jared versus Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Rexrode. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. No, I'm in town. I was at Titans today, and so, I wanted to get as close to you as possible so you wouldn't try to duck me for a second week in a row, which, of course, you did last week on this and then on our show the next day. You had some lame excuse both days, so, I just wanted to make sure we got this done before the holiday.
First of all, the phone's not working was not my fault last week. And then secondly, I probably could have done Jared versus Joe last week, considering that me and TD were stuck at the O'Hare Airport for the whole day. But with that, it's time for Jared versus Joe.
Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexrode. Now on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game.
Caroline?
All right, let's get into it. So I don't know which one of you tried to duck the hard questions last week, but you can't escape them for too long because I kept notes. Jared, you go first. Is Tannehill tough?
Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough question. Wow. Honestly, I mean, let me say this. I think Tannehill's a good man. And I like Tannehill a lot. I do. I really do. I doubt he likes me, but I can't control that. And it's just kind of, it's like an occupational hazard when you gossip about somebody as much as we gossip about Tannehill. But I like Tannehill.
But.
No. I want more out of Tannehill. You know, I was thinking about what Chad Withrow was talking about last week or a couple weeks ago or whenever it was. We were talking about Steve McNair and that Steve McNair absolutely would have played. And Chad said that Eddie George told Hutton on the Eddie George show that Steve McNair would have played. But, like, it was a different era. So when I watch these Football Life documentaries and they talk about Dan Marino draining his knee or Joe Montana playing in college with hypothermia or like all these things that happened, it's like it's a different era. That being said, if the Titans had beaten the Chiefs, the Titans right now, I believe, would be leading the AFC for the number 1 seed. And, I mean, it was a low ankle sprain, and I guess he just couldn't go. And then it's like this week, you know, Vrabel's gone out of his way. We've talked about it plenty, about how Vrabel's gone out of his way to kind of mask last year's Bengals game from Tannehill, whether it's not a revenge game or whether it's, you know, wearing different uniforms than they wore last year, or whether it's the key to the game on offense is to run the ball and not turn it over, you know, whatever it may be. I mean, I think Tannehill is tougher than some of these other guys in the league. And I think Tannehill is better than some of these other guys in the league. But I could use more of that. I could use more toughness of playing through injury and that kind of thing from Tannehill. So I'm just kind of like the softness. Remember that press conference he did in May where he got up there and talked about how he had home renovations and like, I'm supposed to believe that. And then going to tell us about how hard the Bengals game. It's supposed to be hard, but he didn't get up in front of everybody after the Bengals game and take responsibility for it. And that's the tough part. So I could use a little bit more. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, talk about just a word salad of just randomness that made no sense. So I just want to make sure there, Jared. So is Jeffrey Simmons, have you questioned his toughness? Because he had a low ankle sprain and also missed the game.
He played.
Does he also deserve the Jared? What?
He played.
He missed
Jeffrey Simmons played. And not only that, he really played 3 games as opposed to 2 because the defense was on the field so long because the Titans don't have a backup quarterback. He played 80 snaps against the Chiefs. That's 2 games. So the Titans decided to hold him out. And Simmons even said that he wanted to play, and the Titans held him out so he could go on Thursday Night Football against Green Bay. That was not Simmons' choice, and on top of it, he played with the ankle for 2 games, one of which was 80 snaps. Tannehill didn't even play, he didn't even tape it up to try to play.
Oh, he didn't even try. He went out there before the game and traveled and went out and saw if he could run, and he couldn't. And the next week, we saw how poorly he was moving around, but you have to make up fantasy scenarios where he's like showing everyone his limp, or he gets asked 3 direct questions about his ankle, and somehow you take that as he just can't wait for people to hear about it. Are you kidding me? He got asked direct questions. Yes, Tannehill is tough. Tannehill's toughness should not be questioned. Go back to his time with the Dolphins. I mean, his toughness was not questioned at all. He played through much more serious injuries then as well. His quality as a player is fine to question, but his toughness is absolutely not in dispute. And this whole McNair thing, you have no idea. He missed games. You don't know the specifics of an injury. You said
does Eddie George not count? So Eddie George doesn't know either, does he?
Eddie George does not know the exact specifics of Ryan Tannehill's injury or how it would compare exactly. He absolutely has no idea. He has no clue about that. Neither do you. Not a clue. So you guys can sit there and talk about this and that in the past, but you can't compare apples to apples on this. You don't know the information.
I mean, again, like I said, I'd like to see it just a little tougher. I'd like to see him out there. And it's a low ankle sprain, and you know,
which can't get worse, right, Dr. Jared? I just want to make sure.
You know what would have been
low ankle sprains can't get worse. Is that right?
You know what would have been a real story of toughness is if he had gutted through it against Kansas City and they had won that game, which they would have won that game if he had played, even if he was immobile. And then that is Ryan Tannehill was 80% and played through it, and they beat the Chiefs. But he didn't play. Carolina was
as bad as he looked against Denver, there was no way he should have played.
He looks fine against Denver. What are you talking about?
He did not look fine moving around against Denver.
Looked fine
That
to
was a
me,
week
other
later,
than when he slid
That was a week
or when he
later.
got tackled and he got up and he hobbled around for 20 seconds and then he didn't limp again the rest of the game. Other than that.
Right. Other than you didn't watch how he was moving, you didn't see the velocity on the balls he was throwing. That was a week later.
I did not notice anything
Ridiculous.
outside of the ordinary against the Denver Broncos.
No.
Now, when he came back in against
Well.
the Colts, yes, I noticed that, but not against the Broncos.
Okay. Well,
Carolina,
you
what's
gotta
next?
crank up. Yep. You crank up the spill.
On to the next. On to the next. Joe, you go first. The Titans players, Mike Vrabel, Ryan Tannehill have all come forward and said this is not a revenge game. But should the Titans approach this Bengals game like a revenge game?
Actually, I'm so glad you brought that up. That was another point I wanted to make. Like another fantasy scenario, like somehow Vrabel's saying this, which is like it's total football coach speak cliche stuff, not a revenge game. Somehow Jared has turned that into he's doing it to use kid gloves about Ryan's feelings. Like what? Where? How do you even get to these things? No, I don't know. How should the Titans look at this as an important game in the AFC, a chance to measure up against the team? I mean, look, I do agree with Jared, and we talked about this a lot today on our show. That game was not about the Bengals. It wasn't about the Bengals. It was about Ryan Tannehill. That game was a referendum on Ryan Tannehill as the quarterback of the Titans, and all we talked about in this town, as you guys well know, for months was, can they get anyone else? What are they going to do if they have to keep? It was all about Tannehill. He lost that game, so it isn't a revenge game. Like it wasn't anything the Bengals did except the gifts that Ryan Tannehill gave them. So, and either way, like it's a regular season game. The next year, if they get to a playoff game, it'll be more of an angle. But even that, revenge is not going to trump just being able to win a playoff game. So honestly, it's just coach speak stuff. And yes, they were all told, "No, it's not a revenge game." Everybody say that. They're all saying it. But I kind of buy it. I mean, this to me doesn't feel the same as like the Ravens wins over the Titans, where there's this bitterness and there's this lingering feeling. I don't think people care about the Bengals. I just think they cared after that game about how Tannehill screwed it up.
So, I mean, I go back to yesterday, and I mean, Chris Sanders today was like, absolutely a revenge game, and I just disagree. I mean, there's no ill will. There's no angst between the Titans and the Bengals. There's not a player on the Bengals that did anything. There's not, the Titans know why they lost that game. To me, I struggle with the idea that there's something special, that the Titans look at this the way that Roger Staubach and the 70s Cowboys looked at, Dyron Talbert and the 70s Redskins, who said after the NFC Championship game that they should have played the other quarterback. I'm glad they played Roger Staubach. And then Roger Staubach goes, "We never lost to Washington again when I played because of that." They're just not the same, not even remotely close. I'm with Joe on this one. That playoff loss had nothing to do with the Bengals. It had everything to do with the Titans, at least as far as I'm concerned and the Titans are concerned. So, no, it's not a revenge game. And the idea, too, about can Tannehill hold it together or is he going to crack under the pressure? That's all coming back when they get into the playoffs. And it doesn't matter if it's the Chargers or the Dolphins or the Patriots or the Bengals or the Ravens or whoever is in here for that first playoff game. It doesn't matter who it is. All the talk will be about how Tannehill stunk it up in the playoffs last year. And really, it should be included that he stunk it up for the last 2 years. But that's what it's going to be about before that game, regardless of who the opponent is. Really has nothing to do with the Bengals. The Bengals were the team that were there last year, but it just really crystallized the problems of the 2021 Titans. And it really had nothing to do with them. And I think this team knows that. But I do stand by my fact that I think that Vrabel's going out of his way to wear oven mitts around Ryan Tannehill's psyche ahead of this Bengals game.
Your fact. Yeah, you're standing by your fact. Okay. Sounds good.
Did I just say I was standing by my fact? I'm standing by my opinion. Did I say I was standing by the fact?
I mean, that's what you said.
Did I? Seriously.
I think you just said fact.
Okay, yeah. No fact. I'm standing by my accusation that Mike Vrabel is handling Ryan Tannehill with oven mitts ahead of this game. Accusation, not fact. Thank you, Joe, for pointing that out. More Jared versus Joe coming up. 615-737-1025. I don't know why I give out the phone number, but that is the phone number for the show, in which Joe and I will continue to argue more here on the program. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I love those guys. Hiller's been taking great care of my home for years, and they can do the exact same for you. Hiller is giving away cash for the holidays. They are celebrating from now until the end of the year with special deals. Hiller wants to make sure every child experiences the joy of Christmas this year, so they're donating $50 in Toys for Tots with every tankless water heater purchase. And they're giving away a $250 Visa gift card with each unit. Get a $500 Visa gift card when you buy select new HVAC systems, or get a $500 Visa gift card with the purchase of any new whole home generator. They got more details online. Just go to happyhiller.com. As always, happy you will be, or the service is free, and these deals are only available until the end of the year. So schedule today. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. My guys, proud supporters of the Preds, the Tennessee Volunteers, and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Hiller, call the Happy Face truck today.
Every Wednesday at noon.
No matter the down and distance and no matter the score, they're going to give him the football.
Outkick 360's Jonathan Hutton joins Chase, Willie, and D-Mace to talk all things Titans and NFL.
I hope that they're not throwing flags simply because the league wants to see more of them.
He's got opinions and insights on the two-tone blue.
They are not as good at wide receiver and the playmaking department.
Catch Hutton every Wednesday at noon. Presented by Blend Bar with Davidoff Cigars and by Edley's Barbecue on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks Man Cards are the perfect gifts for the sports fans on your list. Swing by Twin Peaks to purchase your gift cards today and get a little something in return. Offer available at participating restaurants.
This holiday season, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts from Callaway and Bushnell. The Callaway Rogue ST Woods are designed with AI for faster ball speeds. And while you're there, grab a dozen Callaway Chrome Soft golf balls. And from Bushnell, save up to $75 on the Tour V5 and Tour V5 shift rangefinders. There's also gift cards for those favorite golfers on your list. Don't miss these holiday gifts and more happening now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Welcome to Smashville, home of the biggest hits in hockey and the loudest parties on Broadway. Join us this Thanksgiving weekend and bring the whole family to Bridgestone Arena November 25th for the Gold Friday game as your Nashville Predators take on the Colorado Avalanche. And don't miss the game November 26th as your Nashville Predators take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Purchase your tickets today at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. Let's go, Preds!
Hey, it's Jared for FanDuel Sportsbook. The world's biggest soccer tournament is back, and FanDuel wants you to get in on all the action when America takes the pitch. Because when you bet on Team USA in group play, all customers get a free bet back if they don't win. All tournament long, FanDuel has your favorite bet types, including some that are exclusive only to soccer. Plus, just like any other sport, you can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday with a same-game parlay. However you want to play, be sure to back the red, white, and blue because all customers get free bets back if Team USA doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code JGM if you don't already have an account. Make every moment more with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet ranging from $5 to $100 and restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
It's Black Friday weekend, and Genesis Diamonds is giving away free Yetis, free pizza ovens, free Always pans, and free smart TVs. When you buy any piece of jewelry at Genesis this weekend, you'll get one of the year's coolest holiday gifts, absolutely free. Stock the tree with something for everyone this year. Spend just $299 or more on a piece of jewelry, and Genesis gives you a free rechargeable hand warmer or shiatsu massager. Spend $500 and you'll get an Ember Smart Mug, or spend at least $1,000 at Genesis this weekend, and you'll get a free mini projector or big horn pizza oven. So you can get her that beautiful ring or pair of earrings for Christmas and get one of the year's hottest gifts at no extra charge. How about a Yeti Tundra when you spend at least $1,800 this weekend? Or listen to this, spend $3,500 on a piece of jewelry and choose between a 55-inch 4K TV and a Dyson Airwrap. Yours free. Don't miss the Black Friday event. This Friday through Cyber Monday, only at Genesis Diamonds. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Open Sundays till Christmas.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Sounds like this has been a game-changing day for all of us.
Presented by TriStar Moving on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app. Jared Stillman versus Joe Rexrode. Now on Stillman and Company.
On ESPN
102.5 The Game.
More Jared versus Joe. Joe Rexrode with us. Caroline, right to it.
All right, first question. Jared, you go ahead. Who deserves the blame for Tennessee's loss to South Carolina?
That's a good question. I mean, ultimately, I kind of put it on. Boy, that's a really good question. I mean, I'm going to have to put it on the coach for one reason. And I'm a big Heupel fan, and this doesn't change that I'm a Heupel fan. But, I mean, if Jeremy Banks punched Hendon Hooker over stepping on the power tee and got suspended for the game and didn't play in it, and it's obvious that had some sort of negative effect on the Vols. I mean, I just feel like that's where the culture of the team kind of has to overcome that. Like, if you've got a championship culture, Georgia has a culture that somehow Isaiah Wilson made it through the program. I don't know how, but he somehow made it through the program at UGA and found his way to the NFL, and nobody ever had an idea that he was that kind of guy. So I put it a little bit on the coach and just the culture that I thought Tennessee had, that they needed to have. I mean, when they blew out Ball State to start the year, I felt like they had that culture with that coach and that quarterback, and I guess they just didn't have it. Now, I do think the Jeremy Banks thing was a problem. I don't think it was, like, the only reason that they lost, but I definitely think that it brought down the morale of the team, and I would put that on the board, the Family Feud board, as the number one answer as to the biggest problem with Tennessee on Saturday. So I'll go with the culture of the team put out by the coach.
Real quick, as an aside, when you say that kind of guy, what do you mean by that?
That kind of guy.
Isaiah Wilson.
He's nuts. He's a bad apple.
Okay. But you do understand that sometimes people, get a whole bunch of money and then get into some issues that happen as a result of that, and then it's not like they were that, previously. I just want to clarify, because I think you're sort of framing that situation incorrectly.
I mean, I think that Isaiah Wilson probably, and this is just an assumption, and maybe I'm wrong for making this, that even in the days before NIL, I'm sure that the Georgia football players that started on the offensive line probably found their way to getting money if they wanted it. I don't think that it was all of a sudden Isaiah Wilson just got rich overnight and went off the deep end. I think Isaiah Wilson probably had to be propped up, probably almost every single day, had to be propped up at Georgia to, get in line, and somehow they did it. And here, where there's more responsibility put on the player than college, he couldn't do it. But I don't think that Isaiah Wilson came out of nowhere.
That's not accurate. And it's also, first-round money is not, you're a starting lineman at SEC school money. But regardless, I agree that it's Heupel. You have to put the blame on the person making the most money, the person who gets all the credit when things go well. when a team performs this poorly, you have to look at him. And I know some people want to look at Tim Banks too, the D coordinator, and that's fine. It was just an atrocious defensive performance. So you can include him too. And I do think that the Jeremy Banks situation, whatever exactly happened, has to be part of what hurt the Vols. But ultimately, yeah, look, it's on the head coach. It's not easy. There's no way it's easy when you are having a season like this and all you do, basically everyone around you just talks about the playoff rankings and you're going to get another shot at Georgia or maybe you're going to play Ohio State and, you're just going to cruise down the stretch. There's no way it's easy to get a team to actually understand that you have to focus and prepare or you're not just going to show up and win. But obviously he failed in doing that because that was a team that was, and I heard Trevor Manich on your show, and I think this is what people miss a lot of times, is they think of teams getting up for a team in the moment, coming out of the tunnel fired up or not fired up, and that's what it is. It's about what did you put in the work in the days preceding that to actually have an idea of what you should be doing, who you're playing, what their tendencies are, all that stuff. And clearly the Vols thought they could just show up and roll, and has to be on Josh Heupel.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a free agent, right? Like a guy in his walk year, and he has a great season. And it's not like he was sitting there on the field thinking, I got to run this route well in order to get a contract. It's in March of that year where it's like, I better put down the Twinkies for about 6 months so that I can get this great contract. And clearly Tennessee just, I think it was Dabo Swinney that said in a roundabout Dabo way that Tennessee overlooked South Carolina. And I think that's got to be on the coach, too. But I still think that Jeremy Banks thing's ridiculous. And then I thought the Vols were above that. What's next?
Joe, you go first. Is Vanderbilt making progress?
Are we talking Vanderbilt football, yes, or Vanderbilt athletics at large?
Both.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, football is making, tremendous progress. And, that's – honestly, I swear I would have said that had they not won these last two games. I would have said, well, I don't know if tremendous would have been part of it because at some point you do. You have to win. You have to win more games. But progress is undeniable with Vanderbilt football. Athletics, Jared's always asked, yeah, they put out these press releases. I mean, just walk over to the campus. Everything is blown up around their athletic facilities because they're actually building things. They have shovels in the ground, and they're going to have much better facilities, which, again, they had to get themselves to a place of respectability. It had eroded to the point where they were so far behind, and now they're going to catch up there. Sport by sport, they still have an elite baseball program. I absolutely am bullish about Shea Ralph and the women's basketball program, although the injuries this year are going to make it tough. And we're going to see, on Jerry Stackhouse and men's basketball.
No. We ain't going to see. They gave him a contract extension. We're going to see. They gave him a contract extension. There's no seeing there.
So, okay. So they gave him a contract extension, so that means that we all just have to fall in line with that?
We all have to admit that it was stupid and they shouldn't have done it.
Right.
Stupid.
I'm saying we're going to see. That's fine, Jared. I'm not talking about the Stackhouse extension. I'm saying we're going to see if he can get it done. I mean, at some point, you got to get an NCAA tournament bid, and it's off to a rough start there. So, but overall, the department, look, they have a chancellor and an AD who communicate with each other and who communicate with their coaches, and there seems to be actual interest in the university side in athletics succeeding. That is massive. That's a 180. So, yes, it's huge progress.
I do think the football team's making progress. The win-loss record's part of it, but, it's a much better team than when Clark showed up. And I think Clark's doing a great job. And, I don't think they'll beat Tennessee this week, but the fact that they won with Mike White at quarterback when A.J. Swan went down, I thought was very impressive. I do think that the football program is getting look, at Vanderbilt, the best you can do is make a bowl, and they're getting close to it. And when Clark got there, they didn't win a game. So I think that, it's going to be an uphill climb, but I think he's a good coach. And I think Clark's shown that he's a good head coach. even though it may not equal to anything more than making a bowl game every now and then at Vandy, I do think Clark's a good coach. As far as the department's concerned, I actually am really, really unhappy with the leadership from Candace Lee. I think that Candace Lee is bordering on a horrendous athletic director. And I think the Jerry Stackhouse extension is part of it, but I don't think it's the whole story. I think Jerry Stackhouse has no business getting an extension. I don't think he's good for Vanderbilt. I don't think he's a particularly good coach. And I don't think he's, engaged the community whatsoever. And he doesn't win any basketball games. But my bigger issue is what happened a couple of weeks ago when they had an assistant coach went on Facebook backing up Kanye West. And Vanderbilt is not like every other SEC school. There are certain things that just don't fly at Vanderbilt. And Candace Lee put out a statement with Clark Lee, but she's the athletic director, put out a statement at like 11:30 at night on a Friday saying that this coach who stood up for anti-Semitism, that he had learned his lesson and he was going to coach in the game the next day. And then Clark Lee had to answer the questions after the game about this coach doing the coaching. And I thought that was embarrassing because if you're the athletic director and you're going to make a decision like that, you need to be the one who answers the questions. And she was nowhere to be found. And I thought that the way that was handled was so embarrassing and it was so disrespectful. And I was really upset about it. And I've talked about this about anti-Semitism before. And I've talked about how I don't view anti-Semitism any differently than I do about anybody that's against any other race. So if there is something, even though I'm Jewish, if there is something that is racist, or if there is something, whether it's with a black person or an Asian person or whatever, I think I have a lot of empathy for that because I figure that anybody who doesn't like a specific group probably doesn't like my group either. And I was really upset about it because, I think Clark Lee is a good man. I do. And I couldn't believe that Clark Lee would put that coach on his sideline. Now, I don't know, how good of a coach that guy was because he got suspended by the university after he coached the South Carolina game and they won 2 in a row. So I don't know how much they need this coach that, is talking about how we all need to open our eyes to Kanye West. But I thought the way that Candace Lee handled that was, I think, a horrendous exhibit of leadership. And I don't think that Candace Lee has done anything to get people more engaged with Vanderbilt athletics. I truly think that Jerry Stackhouse contract extension was a slap in the face of everybody who considers themselves a Vanderbilt basketball fan. So I think the department is headed in the wrong direction.
Okay, so real fast, I know we're getting late. You're totally wrong on engaging people. That's a bad take on your part. It's a fair criticism on how they handled the Dan Jackson situation. I will tell you that was the post-game coaches press conference, which of course he's going to have, and that Candace Lee was there and did talk to all the assembled media after that press conference. So you're inaccurate on how that went down too. And that's a fair criticism, and so is the Stackhouse extension. But let me ask you, Jared, what is the primary job of an athletic director? What is it that an athletic director does that you basically their legacy is tied to?
I don't know. Where are you going with this?
It's hiring coaches, and she's hired Clark Lee and Shea Ralph. I don't know where those teams are going to end up, but I think right now it's a strong 2 for 2. She did not hire Jerry Stackhouse. I agree the extension was unnecessary, but for you to take these two things and take it to bordering horrible AD means that you don't really pay attention to what she's been doing.
Caroline?
And to wrap up our final question, Joe, weekly check-in, John Hines report card, now that we are one day away from the line of demarcation.
Well, let's see. Are they winning? Are they in the playoffs right now? Okay.
I think they're just outside.
They are 5th in the Central Division right now.
C-.
Okay.
C-. Wow. All right, Caroline, who won?
All right. Well, it is Thanksgiving tomorrow, and in the spirit of giving, everybody wins.
No.
I'm the judge. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Joe, happy Thanksgiving, bud.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. All of you, all three of you. Have a great holiday.
Yep, Joe Rexroad joining us, as always, on a little Jared versus Joe. 615-737-1025. I do have a quick Titans thought we'll get to, and then I've got some other Preds thoughts as well. It's a loaded show because pregame starts in less than 30 minutes. Edley's Barbecue. If you're going to the games this weekend, hand off the tailgate prep to Edley's Barbecue. Get your smoked wings in easy 25 and 50 count platters. Easily take the smoke pulled pork, brisket, turkey, and scratch-made sides family style. Edley's is perfect for game day at home or at the stadium. So call your neighborhood Edley's. Edley's Barbecue has been voted Nashville's best barbecue 4 years in a row. Edley's Barbecue, they are a winning pick. Pickup, delivery, or full-service catering. That's right, they got that all as well. So if you're looking to get it done, Edley's Barbecue. We've catered from Edley's. I love Edley's. That's Edley's Barbecue, your neighborhood Edley's, or edleysbbq.com.
Hi, I'm Yussi Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by Yussi Saros there.
Unreal. You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Ford South. I don't know about you guys, but I love this time of year. I get to see all the beautiful fall colors, the fantastic weather. We're getting deeper into football season. It's just a reminder that we have so much to be thankful for. And while the automotive industry has been a bit of a roller coaster, we are still so thankful to serve the local community. We love being able to partner with local schools and organizations. We're also so thankful that we've earned business not only from our local communities, but from places all across the United States. The response from customers far and wide is, "This was so amazing. I've never had a car buying experience like this." Check out our reviews online to see for yourself. So no matter if you're in the market for a new car, looking to sell your car, or even service your car, come find out why Newton is different. Change your experience. Come see us in store or visit us online at newtonfordsouth.com.
What's up, everyone? It's me, Michelle Knezovic, and I want to know if you can beat Vegas this football season. Superbook Sports gives you the chance every week to go head-to-head with the best odds makers in Las Vegas. No fancy computer algorithms, just the best team of odds makers in the business behind the counter at Superbook in Las Vegas. Listen, I like the Tennessee Titans plus 305 to win the division. I still think that they have a chance to take the AFC South. Plus, Superbook features some of the best odds boosts and promos bets anywhere. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com. Start your battle against Vegas right now. Visit Superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
How would you like to come home to a bartender who will fix you any cocktail you want?
I'll have an old-fashioned.
I'll have a margarita.
Now you can with the Bartesian Home Cocktail Maker. Bartesian is a sleek machine the size of a coffee maker that makes premium cocktails at the touch of a button. Choose from over 50 different cocktails, from classics to the most exotic premium cocktails served in the best bars today. You'll always get freshly mixed, perfectly balanced cocktails with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. And now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever at bartesian.com/enjoy. Entertaining? The Bartesian is ideal for parties. No need to stock all kinds of individual mixers for complicated recipes. Every guest gets the cocktail of their choice in seconds. The Bartesian makes a wonderful gift for anyone who loves a fine premium cocktail. Now get Bartesian's best Black Friday deal ever. It's available right now, only at bartesian.com/enjoy. That's BARTESIAN.com/enjoy for Bartesian's best deal ever, only at bartesian.com/enjoy.
Jonathan Hutton.
You have to put the ball in his hands in that moment.
And Chad Withrow.
My kicker's making no decisions on a football team.
Are in the game. Join them for NFL postgame after every Titans home game. Live from Landshark Bar and Grill in Margaritaville on Broadway. They'll break down that day's game and look ahead to the next one. NFL postgame is presented by Two Rivers Ford, Renter's Warehouse, and Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, Trey Wingo here. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
I have the Cowboys at 8.
Number 7.
Meanwhile, I think the Titans could be the best coach team in the league, not called the Chiefs. 7th win in their last 8 games. The fact they took the Chiefs to overtime without a second-half first down is just remarkable. They've missed 160 games. Player games have been missed due to injury. Second most in the league, so they're not even healthy. They're 8-2 against the spread. What does that tell you? Is that they're totally undervalued as a team. They are tough. They're physical. They're the kind of team that could go to Arrowhead and you look up and go, wait a minute, why is Mahomes watching the second half? I wouldn't want to play them. They're always playing with house money. They never get respect. They're 7-3. Titans at number 7.
There you go. Colin Cowherd in his herd hierarchy. He's got the Titans ahead of the Cowboys. Am I the only one that's shocked by that?
Isn't that not as much as Skip and Shannon, but is that not a Cowboy loving program?
I mean, it's really not like Skip and Shannon. They talk the Cowboys, but they don't talk them like Skip and Shannon do.
Not like Skip and... I don't think any show in America talks about the Cowboys as much as Skip and Shannon do, even Dallas Sports Talk Radio. But still,
I mean...
for the Titans to get more national love from Colin Cowherd than the Dallas Cowboys is saying something.
It's starting to make me uncomfortable. Like, it's starting to make the Titans have that game against Green Bay. And Titans played well Thursday night. I mean, I thought they played a great game. And I thought they played a complete game. And I think both things can be true. The Titans are a really good team. I think the Titans are Super Bowl contenders. I think the Titans played a good game on Thursday night at Green Bay. And it can also be true that Green Bay stinks. But what I think's crazy is it's like that happened, and then all of a sudden everybody is now jumping on the bandwagon from that one game. And it's making me uncomfortable because the Titans are normally good at the nobody respects us, nobody expects anything out of us. And then the second that Colin Cowherd starts putting them ahead of the Cowboys, then they throw 4 interceptions and lose to the Texans. So I guess it's a long-winded way of saying I get mad when they put the Colts ahead of the Titans, when everybody puts the Colts ahead of the Titans as they did all year until the middle of the year. And then I get mad when they start giving the Titans respect. And yet at the same time, it's like I feel a Vrabel special brewing. I almost...
Like a bad Vrabel special?
Yeah. Like they'll beat the Bengals and the Eagles and then turn around and lose to, I think it's Jacksonville. And Jacksonville stinks, by the way.
Jacksonville does stink.
By the way, if there was any question about the markets, about the NFL, Trevor Lawrence doesn't win anything in Jacksonville. Nobody talks about it. Zach Wilson's 5-2 as a starter this year. Just got benched today. Yeah, he's stinking it up. But that's the difference between Jacksonville and New York. All right, we ran a little long there with Joe. So I got this Preds theory that I want to try out on Hal Gill. They got a big one tonight against Detroit. I got a Preds theory. And we'll hear what Hal has to say next. Stillman & Company, 102.5, 106 to the game.
College football.
Touchdown, Georgia. Nice catch and move by Holden. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Lives here. Don't miss every exciting play each Saturday.
Into the end zone. Touchdown to the freshman, Dane Key.
It's all presented by Twin Peaks, your home of 20-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and by Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
Look for a few clouds as we head into the evening hours tonight with temperatures dropping back into the 30s. A great-looking Thanksgiving to start. We'll look for increasing clouds, highs in the mid-60s with rain arriving by late in the day. For Fox 17, I'm Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Attention hockey fans, come see Northeastern and Western Michigan face off at this year's Music City Hockey Classic in a matchup of 2 of the NCAA's top 20 ranked college teams at Bridgestone Arena Friday, November 25th, 6:30 p.m. Get your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com. Let the puck drop and the excitement begin. Northeastern Huskies versus the Western Michigan Broncos in Nashville, November 25th.
Now is a fantastic time to sell in Nashville, but you can't do it without the intel. And no one has better intel than the Gary Ashton team. You may be wondering, what is this intel I keep hearing about? Intel so you can sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel on where to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel that helps you win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Everyone else is getting the same information and competing for the same properties. GaryAshton.com gives you the edge with the best real estate intel in Nashville. No one else even comes close. Plus, the Gary Ashton team is the official real estate agent for the Preds. Get the confidence to sell your home and find your dream address without the stress. Call the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage today at 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com. And remember, don't sell without the intel.
Give the gift of luxury this holiday season. Nothing is more elegant than a trip to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Gift cards from Bob's Steakhouse or Mocara Day Spa make wonderful gifts for any occasion, especially during the holidays. The foodie in your life will enjoy an evening of fine dining from the award-winning Bob's Steakhouse. Bob's Steakhouse specializes in serving big, flavorful steaks next to Texas-sized portions of delicious sides. The special person in your life will be comforted with the gift of relaxation and rejuvenation when they receive a gift card to Mocara Day Spa. Let the spoiling begin with a soothing facial, hot stone massage, body treatment, salon service, or mani-pedi. Bob's Steakhouse and Mocara Day Spa in the luxurious Omni Nashville Hotel. Purchase your gift cards today.
The choice is yours. Wednesdays at 8:45. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies. Now hiring experienced sprinkler experts. Go to jarrettfire.com. JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, a company above and beyond industry standards.
Chase McCabe.
You get a little fired up for that. Pads start popping.
Willie Donick.
And you're just thinking, this guy's unbelievable.
And Derek Mason.
Now I got to run a little bit faster so I don't get hit.
Chase, Willie, and D-Mace. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Stillman and Company.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Predators tonight in Detroit. Pre-game is in about 12 minutes. Hal Gill is in the booth, presented by Duncan. Hal, we are approaching U.S. Thanksgiving, and you know that is the line of demarcation, and the Predators are currently out of a playoff spot, but we'll see what happens tonight. But I've got a theory. The more I get down on the team, the more the team wins. So I am not going to stay getting down on the team. I was torn about the win the other night because that Arizona team was terrible, but they did find a way, even in a 7-round shootout, to find a way to pull it out. Hal, how do we feel about the Predators after the road trip from hell is now vehemently in the rearview mirror?
I feel like you wake up in the morning, pee on your cornflakes, and start your day. It's like you just can't have some fun. The team is.
I go to Dunkin' in the morning. You know that.
I know you do. That's a good point. That's smart. But yeah, this team is playing well. Just enjoy it, Jared. Enjoy it. They're finding ways to win. It's not always going to be perfect. I think they have. The fun part about it is, I think they found their defensive game. And they know they can do a lot more, but they're winning games. That's 5 games at home that they found a way to get a point in one and win the other 4. So this team is playing well, and we should be happy about it. It's Thanksgiving. Be thankful for something in your life, Jared. And I understand that you always have to look at every angle, but come on, this is a team that's fun to watch right now.
I mean, I thought that Arizona team, they should have won 4-0 the other night. What really bothered me, though, was the power play, and the power play's been bothering me for a while. They have too much money on that power play, Hal, to be getting the results they're getting, especially against that terrible Arizona team the other night. I mean, they're on a 4-on-3 power play with 2 minutes to go in overtime, and they can't put a puck in the net with $40 million out on the ice. That drove me crazy. Your thoughts on the power play?
Well, I think it's coming around. Didn't they have a couple goals?
I think they had one power play goal.
Their numbers
in
are
the
last
first period the other night.
Numbers the last. And
I think they gave up a shorthanded goal the other night too.
They got 2, and really that power play to start the third period was really what set that third period up for them to get back in that game. So after a sloppy second period, so that unit is back together, the big top unit, and yeah, you're right. That's a lot of money. They're demanding more from them, but I think it they've had good looks, so I'm not discouraged by it. I was, the start of the season they were sloppy, they weren't getting it done, but I think as the season has gone on in the last 5 games, they've been finding a way. Maybe the numbers aren't there, but they're finding ways to impact a game. The penalty kill is doing the same thing. They're impacting games. They're getting kills when they need it, and sometimes you give up a goal on a power play, and those things are going to happen. Like, look at Tampa. That's a great power play. They did some great job stopping them. I thought the penalty kill was awesome. It's just you can only stop Kucherov and Stamkos so much. But the power play has stepped up in timely positions and gotten it done. So I think that's a work in progress, but they're building on that. And I think that's like the rest of their game. 5-on-5, they're doing some good things, and they're trying to build on it.
Hal, what about Detroit tonight? I'm used to Detroit stinking it up pretty bad. Doesn't look like this Detroit team stinks that bad.
Yeah, I think Steve Yzerman really has done a good job. He did the same thing in Tampa. He kind of rebuilt that program, and they're having lasting success. And I think he's trying to do the same thing here. Last year he had some young guys that came in, like Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond, young guys kind of helping out with Dylan Larkin, trying to get things going. But this year they've added guys, Kubalik, Perron, Ben Sherrod on the back end. They've added some real good players, and I think they're having success. They play a hard game. They'll play a physical game, but they have a lot of skill, and I think they're not far from being that contender that we've all known Detroit is. I mean, they had some great years. They had to take a step back, and now they're rebuilding, and I think they're kind of catching their groove right now. So we'll see how this game goes tonight. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
It kind of feels like you were part of that team that ended the Detroit Red Wings. Hal Gill, presented by Duncan tonight on the call. Hal, tell us about Duncan.
Well, you said it. You wake up in the morning, and I got to get my dunks. Whatever you need. Of course, midnight roast is my go-to. That's what I'm looking for. We had some cold days. It's all warmed up back there now, so maybe you go squeeze in an iced coffee. But any time of day, they have your snacks. They have your donuts, your munchkins, your omelet bites, a good healthy option. Breakfast sandwiches are fantastic, but they're popping up everywhere in Nashville. The newest one in Mount Juliet just opened up, and it's nice to see. Coming from Boston, we had dunks on every corner, and it's nice to see that Nashville is picking it up and getting the dunks on every corner. So go out there, treat yourself today, tomorrow. Get out there and get your dunks.
Appreciate you, Hal. We'll see you in literally 5 minutes on the pregame show, and then, of course, with the puck drop tonight at 6 o'clock. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Hal.
Let's get it. A happy Thanksgiving, guys. Cheers.
Yep. By the way, that was a much more trying to think of the right word to say there, cheery discussion between Hal and I. Now the team's winning some games. With that, it's time now for Predators Game Day, presented by TJ Anderson Homes.
Deflects back for Duchesne. His shot stop, and the score!
What are the keys to victory tonight? What's being said in the locker room? Where do the Preds reside in the Central Division standings? Jared Stillman has the latest now. With Preds Game Day on Stillman and Company. This is Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Predators Game Day presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Buying or selling, or even thinking about buying or selling? Talk to TJ Anderson. He's my realtor. TJ has taken care of 2 purchases for me and done even more for my friends. I have no hesitation in referring them to him and his wonderful staff. If you're looking to sell your property free and clear, ask TJ how he's having success marketing those properties right now. Got TJAndersonHomes.com, has home reports and reports on value and equity and suggestions on what you can do with the equity and much more. That's TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, TJAndersonHomes.com. U.S. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. It's the line of demarcation. Big one tonight against the Detroit Red Wings, 5-4. The Predators 9-8-2. Good for 20 points coming off their win the other night. John Hines is putting Matt Duchesne with Colton Sissons and Tanner Jeannot tonight. Here's the coach's take.
Well, they look like they had some pretty good chemistry in the third, and just a little bit different look. I think with Tanner and Sissons, you have Duchesne and Sissons are both good on faceoffs, so I think you have a good job there. I think those two guys, Tanner and Sis, I think work. They get in on the forecheck, but they also have the ability to make plays. And then I think you look at Matt. I think to play with two guys like that, sometimes it frees him up a little bit to be able to spend some more time in the offensive zone. And we did it for a period. It looked good, and just a little bit different look too with guys on different lines for matchups. Even on the road, you have some pretty good scorers on each line.
Final thought presented by TJ Anderson Holmes. Edmonton is at the Islanders. Meanwhile, St. Louis, they play as well, I believe, tonight at Buffalo. And so if the Predators win and those teams lose, the Predators could technically be in the playoffs on U.S. Thanksgiving tomorrow. Everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving. Chase has got the pregame next. Caroline, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for you and Ian.
There you go. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Pregame's next. Predators in Detroit, 6 o'clock. Puck drop tonight.